Well, I mean, and that's all I can ask for. Like that's the goal of Riverside. It's not to. I don't want to have 10 events. I don't want to make $1 million every year. I don't want to do any of these like lavish things. Like I just want Riverside to be a well-executed event that's a lot of fun to go to with everybody involved, and that's not like a burden. Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Substance Show. I'm your host, Liam.
And I'm your other host, Matt.
And today we are back for the official Season 2 of Substance. We've taken a break for a couple of weeks. We didn't intend to. It just kind of happened that way. Me and Matt had a really, really busy and super stressful weekend. And so we took that weekend off. And then last weekend...
And then the next weekend, the same thing happened, but we weren't planning for it?
Yeah, I woke up on the day that we were going to record, Sunday, which we should not leave this until Sunday. We're now, for Season 2, we're planning. Yeah, I woke up with the flu, and so I tried my best to like get it together so that we could like sit down and record, and I ended up throwing up like real bad. So yeah, we just held off and we're like, you know what, let's come back, let's do this even better. And in the time off, I bought lights and a third microphone. So if you're on YouTube right now, you will notice there is a strange man sitting in the middle of us. We're going to address the strange man at some point. I promise.
Probably,
but no,
probably in like the last 5-10 minutes. Of the
yeah,
show.
No, I figured me and Matt we'll just talk, and then we'll get to the little plug that we need to do with Mason
I'll
further
just
down the
sit here
line.
and do my taxes then.
That's fine.
Wait for you guys.
But yeah, this is the first episode where we are actually doing a 3-person episode, and from here on out, I really, really would like to do a lot more guest-focused episodes. I think we've kind of gotten to a point where we've covered a lot of the important topics that we really wanted to between me and Matt, and I feel like if we don't adapt, it'll just start getting a little boring. So yeah, we're going to start bringing on guests, and I think we're going to start traveling with this show too. So we're hopefully going to make it out to a couple shows this year and sit down with more people and get more cool perspectives on shit. But welcome back, Matt. I would say welcome back to you, but it's been me that's been gone for 3 weeks, because the last episode was you and Verone.
Me and Verone, yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that. It's Season 2, man. That we kind of honestly had like a haphazard conversation about that, and we both just kind of agreed that would be a cool thing to do, because we have our new setup, we have a third mic, we have guests, and we'd already done, what was it, 12 episodes?
I think it might have been more than that. I swear I don't keep track. It might have been like even 14.
We're so bad. But point is, there was like more than 3. So I think it was perfectly sensical for us to kind of make that decision to do a Season 2. And I don't know, for me, as semantic as it may be, like, that just feels really cool. That just feels really cool that we did like a whole first season and we're still going really strong.
Well, take it as, the point that we're at now. All of the episodes before now was your pilot. That was you getting a taste of what this can be. And hopefully from here we can like take it up a notch and really start, growing this more and getting out to more people and getting more and more, exciting guests and different perspectives on everything. And just see where this goes. So thank you to everybody that has been an avid listener since the start. And you guys that listen.
Big thanks.
Yeah, you guys that have been here through Season 1 and have been huge supporters, we hugely appreciate it. Matt, what are you doing?
I have to move the chair a little bit closer.
I thought Matt was like trying to fart off camera or something for a second. I was like, that's a really awkward way to do it, dude. Just like remove everything from the frame but your ass.
Like, at least he was being polite.
Yeah. Oh, so polite. Yeah, he pointed. He was pointing his ass at you to fart.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, he separated a little bit. Like there was a little bit of space there.
I left room for Jesus, man.
But yeah, before we jump into obviously our guests today, there has been plenty of things to fill you guys in on. Namely, I'm going to do a big plug right now. The day that this episode is out, Monday, the 28th of February, is a drop for me. This is the first drop of
The
first drop of the year. I'm switching up the business model this year, so we're doing a new drop at the end of every month. The store will be open for 1 week. All of the products will only be available then, and we're not remaking them. So it just allows me to focus more on doing this stuff and more media and really my true passions, which is design stuff and media, and bringing all that together. So hopefully you guys want to support. And as a part of that drop, we do have these really, really dope Substance crew necks. If you're not watching on YouTube, maybe go click over to YouTube after you get done listening on Spotify and go take a look, or go to my Instagram. They're really, really cool, and they're super heavy, and I'm a big fan of crew necks. So if you guys want to support the show,
they fit really nice.
Yes.
Too. I also
go to lepautomotive.com/shop right now, and you can order one, and we appreciate it. But
so what is the, like, I guess, like, the font? Is that
it's
like
all
like a lowrider? Like
so the
black, like,
inspiration behind the logo, like me and Matt went back and forth for a little bit on what we were going to do branding wise for this, and we both kind of came to this like conclusion that we love lowrider culture, and the plaques that they make for like the back of the cars or like trunks or whatever looks really cool. But also I think we both kind of have this, and I know you have this influence too, but like the hardcore style, like branding, like hardcore band styling.
Yeah.
We kind of did like a hybrid mix between that and a lowrider plaque. And so
it looks really good. I've always liked that logo.
We're fans for sure. Once he gave it back to us, we were both like, oh fuck.
Yeah, and
this is cool.
I'm really excited to kind of take more of a direction with Substance as a brand, because LEP is an awful name, but I've done pretty well with branding
looking for any excuse to get rid of it.
Literally, I've done a pretty decent job of branding with it, but it has its limitations. And Substance, like as a name, is something that I've held on to for quite a few years, and I want it to become more than just this podcast. And so branding with it, with that name specifically, like there's so many cool directions you can go with design and logos, and you guys that are listening or watching are kind of at the forefront of that. You guys will know what this is. You know, when it grows up to be something bigger someday, you'll be like, oh yeah, that was a podcast that Liam and Matt started
in their garage.
Yeah, you can be the hipsters.
You know, I just want to. We're kind of like Steve Jobs. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, we're definitely not like Steve Jobs.
That was just to clarify. That was a joke because we started in our garage. So.
Yeah. Which talking of the garage. One of the big updates to my life is that my car is obviously home now. And it's made it considerably more difficult to do the podcast because it it lives in the same space as this studio. And so I have to pull the car outside to record this. And if it's raining, I can't really do that. And so, yeah, it's a little bit difficult. But if you guys haven't been following along on the YouTube channel, there is a whole huge backstory as to why my car is home and why it is not finished, and lots of new and exciting things happening with it in order for me to take it once again to get painted. And so if you're curious about...
Attempt number 2.
Yeah, if you're curious about any of that and you're interested in the car, you can kind of browse through the rest of the YouTube and see some other stuff with that. But... Matt, what's been going on with you?
Honestly, man, I'm just doing a lot of working. I have a lot of goals / things in my personal life that are super important to me that require money. I mean, that was a weird way to say that because we all do. But like,
wow, he just described life.
The things I want to do aren't free. Like what? This is news.
Clip that as the most relatable comment on this whole fucking podcast.
I'm gonna make
a little intro.
I'm gonna make the perpetually broke sticker.
And go.
I'm gonna make the perpetually broke sticker with that as like the little text on the bottom of the sticker. No, so yeah, I've just been working a lot, but this is the first time that I've been working a lot and not really like, I'm not going to say being annoyed by it because nobody really likes working and I don't love working, but where I work now is awesome. It's head and shoulders better than any place that I've ever worked before. Everybody there is super cool. But yeah, I have something really important going on in my personal life that is just a huge motivation for me to get as much money as I can. So I've been in that cycle that a lot of us get into, where it's just like work, sleep, work, sleep, work, sleep. This podcast and hanging with my people is the break from that. But this is probably the first time that I've been in that cycle where it didn't just absolutely hate every part of it, just because I know that it's helping me get closer to what I want. So, but that's awesome. That's
the goal for everybody, man.
That's great. And on the topic of hanging with your people, that's kind of a good segue into our guest today. The strange man.
Smooth as fuck, Liam.
Hey, you already know. Season 2, baby. We're good. Our guest today, the strange man sitting between myself and Matt, is Mason. The illustrious Mason Gavin. And for those of you guys that are not familiar, Mason is one of the guys that started Riverside Chattanooga, which is a huge part of my life, Matt's life, and our other roommate Benny's life, and I would probably say thousands of other people too. And I think today we'd like to touch on, what is Riverside, where does it come from, what's happening with it going forward, and a little bit more behind the bones of the show. Because I think to a lot of people online, it's a show. Maybe they go, maybe they don't. But there's a lot that goes into it. And, hearing you talk about it and the conversations I've had with you over the years, and my personal experiences with it, I have been very excited to do this episode. Like, this was the motivation behind getting a third mic, is so that we could do this. So
that's crazy.
That's what we didn't tell you about the guest, is it's actually just going to be Mason over and over.
Well, yeah, we do chit chat kind of often, I guess.
Yeah, but I guess formally introduce yourself, and we can kind of get into a little bit more of who you are before we do Riverside stuff.
Sure, I'll do the best I can with that. Excuse me. I'm Mason Gavin. I'm the owner of Riverside Chattanooga from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Well, I'm actually from a little small town. I'm about 30 minutes south of here, but I've lived in Chattanooga now for, 12 or 13 years.
I call Mason the mayor of Chattanooga.
The mayor of Chattanooga.
Because he seems to know somebody. It doesn't matter where you go in Chattanooga. Mason knows somebody. Or somebody knows Mason.
No, that's crazy. So the guy I actually started Riverside with was my good friend Matt Scudlerick, or Scud. If I refer to him as Scud, that's who I'm talking about.
Right.
So Scud.
I love Scud.
Scud,
if you're listening, I love you.
Yeah.
Sure shout out to Scud. He actually he DM'd me the other day because he was talking about Riverside stuff. He said that you and him were talking. Cool. He said that you and him were talking shit about me, and then he was just like, all jokes aside, I respect what you do. And I was like, oh, dude, thank you. So shout out to Scud. I appreciate you, dude.
No, I mean, some of my best conversations about Riverside I've ever had have been with Scud. Yeah. And that's the thing. So he and I started it, I guess. Not to get too far down this segue, but I created Riverside. I created a car event on paper and worked on it for years and years. And then I knew that for me to bring it to fruition, I really needed the help of someone that could fit a certain role. And a lot of roles, honestly, and Scud plays a lot of roles. And
I was going to say, if I can say anything about Scud, what little I know about him, he's a man of many talents.
He's a man of all talents.
If you can even call it talents, he just knows things and people in everything.
This is the thing that I've learned about Scud in the time that I've known him. You have people that they're like, he's a little bit good at everything. No, Scud is great at basically everything.
Scud is an expert
at everything.
At his field, and his field is all of the fields.
Everything he does.
Does
he really suck at sports?
He is an expert at.
Or is he good at sports?
Well, I said everything he does.
Well, I was gonna say like there's usually like I'm really bad at sports, but I do well in like lots of other areas. I feel like Scud's really bad at sports because he's good at like lots of other shit. No offense if you're actually good at sports.
You know, actually, like so Scud does like BMX riding. Like I knew he did like
fucking damn it.
Wait,
like,
does
and he's
he
actually
actually?
like really good. Yeah. So he used to. I think he did this like not full time, but he did it like a lot when he was younger. And I don't know the specifics on this. I just have ridden bikes with him and seen him on a bicycle, and he's like talented. Like there was times like rolling through like the pavilion, like doing setup and stuff, and he'd bring a bike or he'd ride his bike there from home because it was so close, and he would just like come in and then like do like a little 180 and then bounce off the front tire on like flatland stuff. Like and then he's like, "What's up?" It's like, "You're the craziest guy."
Shut
the
up,
smoothest
Scud.
entrance ever. Yeah.
Damn it, Scud.
Yeah. No, I mean, so to answer your question, yeah, like he is good at like everything he does.
There is something wrong somewhere. I'll find this, Scud.
my thing about Scud that I always say is like, all he needs to be like an expert at something is like to know what that thing is and then give him like Google for 24 hours and then he's automatically better at it than anybody.
Yeah, I mean, any slight bit of motivation on anything that he may want to like achieve, like he will do it and he'll do it better than anyone you know.
Yeah.
And it's so. Oh,
hey, don't tap your hand.
Yell at you. I won't. Yell at you.
Was I tapping? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
My bad.
No, it's all good.
So Scud, yeah, like when he was opening up the Bitter Alibi, he learned all this like plumbing and refrigeration and all that. Like he built the restaurant, and he's never done that before. Like he built,
Bitter Alibi is a fantastic spot in Chattanooga for anybody who wants to come by.
Yeah, so he like I was watching him build the bar upstairs in the cocktail lounge upstairs. The what's it called? Is it the Fix? Yeah, the Fix.
The one upstairs.
Yeah, on the top floor, and he built that bar by hand.
No shit.
And it's like a work of art. And he taught himself how to.
I don't think I've ever been upstairs in Bitter Alibi.
Yeah,
I don't think it's been open since COVID stuff, has it?
Oh, I don't know. I know it's open now. But,
yeah, we were there. We were there.
Not upstairs though. I haven't been upstairs.
You got to go up the spiral staircase. Yeah, it's just like it's a cocktail lounge up there. It's like just like one bar and like some couches and stuff and a cool like patio. But we actually, to bring this back to Riverside,
right?
we hosted our first in 2016 was Riverside 1 or just Riverside Spring Meet, right. But we hosted our pre-meet at the Bitter Alibi. We closed down the street. What's that road called? Houston Street or something like that. We closed it down, which it's a fairly steep hill.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot like kind of directly across from Bitter that's used by the college. But we figured on that weekend, like if we crowded it up, it wouldn't be a problem.
Big deal.
And it wasn't a big deal. But yeah, we just lined some cars up, kind of like 45-degree angle going up the hill on both sides.
Oh, that's cool.
Fun fact. That's where I met Ben.
Oh, yeah?
That's
cool.
That pre-meet is where I met Ben. And I remember that. Come to think of it, I want to say that's the first time you and I talked. Not for very long, but I was vending.
Me and
with
you?
Not Fast that year.
No, the first time you and I talked was in Alabama.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, at
Vile.
Yeah. Shout out Jake. What's Jake's last name?
Jake Lott.
Jake Lott, yeah.
But yeah, I remember I still had my Impreza wagon back then, and I pulled up, and there wasn't even that many cars, and
that was a good time.
It
was a lot of fun.
It was awesome. Like I pulled up, and like I said, there wasn't even that many cars there yet, and everybody was parked at the 45, and like I pulled in and parked my car, and I was like, I'm cool. I'm parked at the. But no, man, it was so cool. It was super chill. I mean, it never got. Like that pre-meet never got like massive. The cars that were there were fucking sweet.
Well,
they were set up really cool. Huh?
Are you talking about Jake's thing?
No, I'm talking about
okay.
I was gonna say, didn't you only did that first year, right? Because was it the second year that you went to the square downtown? That big, I guess not called the square, but whatever that parking lot is that's like in a square in the middle of a block.
Yeah, 2017. That was the first year we did
that one
across the street from Pickle Barrel.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And the library. Sorry, it's a little chilly in here. Right?
Library.
Yeah, but Yeah, we hosted it there. That was the first and only time we did it, and honestly, we just didn't know. Like that was the first. If you think about it, that was literally the first like event that Riverside put on.
Yeah,
was that pre-meet.
Yeah,
and then the next day was the first show.
Yeah.
You know, so we didn't know like who was coming, other than like our friends and people coming from out of town that we knew were coming to the event. And I mean, it was a bunch of nice cars. Too.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
Like roll and. So it was like all the B Scout boys and then like a bunch of friends from Florida came.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say like my first impression of seeing something from Riverside was that I went to Import Alliance Spring Meet in 2016, and that was like the first show that I'd filmed like an after movie at, and I think it might have been only a week later, or was it 2 weeks later that you did Riverside? It was somewhere like real close in that time frame, and I missed out on Riverside because I didn't know about it. Mm-hmm. But the moment that I knew of that show is I saw Naughty Scotty's Q45 parked up in the pavilion with a bunch of other cars, and I was like, oh, what is this? Like, that's a car that I fucking idolize with a bunch of other really cool cars. And then I like looked it up, and I was like, oh, it's kind of close to a similar area. And so the next year I made sure that I had to be there. So yeah, that was my like first impression of seeing anything Riverside.
Yeah, that's cool. I think John from Southern Fresh took that photo because I still see it like circulate around.
Back when Scotty's car was green, like that was my favorite setup of his.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that was one of the nicest cars that was there too.
Yeah.
We had a good variety of vehicles that year still. Even
but obviously, I mean, that was like, humble,
that was so
humble
cool.
beginnings, and you had such nice cars there for that first year. I think that's what made it so much better the second year. Is like so many people saw probably like really nice cars and cool event venue for that first year. And I don't know what the first year was like. I don't know how big it was.
It was smaller than the second year, obviously.
Yeah,
but the second year was also in April, and the first year was like late March, and that it was April 15th was year 2 in 2017, and we had like twice as many people there or something. Like it was like significantly bigger than the first one. It was the same layout, but I didn't have as many cars there because year 2 and year 1 we had in the parking lot, the approved car parking lot, we had cars like actually just backed into spaces. They weren't like 45.
It wasn't made all like super pretty and stuff. Yeah,
but every space was full.
Right.
And there's like 300 parking spaces right there
That's
for the
cool.
approved lot. And we were just blown away by that. Just like, I can't believe like
the first time we do this,
people heard of this, like it's just wild that you guys showed up. But I mean, and 2016 was like, that was our rookie year, obviously, but that came after 8 or 9 years of
That's what I was going to say. I was going to ask you, what came before that? Because obviously 2016 is the first time that you guys had done Riverside Meet. What led you there? Like, what was the whole process from however long back? Like, where did it start? And then, just leading up to that, basically.
So year 1 was 2016. And that was after 8 or 9 years of building Riverside in a notebook. And that came from just me going to car shows all up and down the East Coast. I barely did anything Midwest or West Coast that early on. And I mean, because back then, like the shows that brought people were only heavy hitter shows. Like there weren't, you had like parking lot meets, and then you had like
filler shows weren't as big of a thing then.
But not like, there really weren't many like filler shows. Like even those, what I would consider that would just be like a weekly get together, like hang out. And then and then like next level would be like once a year, and it's like a local group, and they put something together, and like the parking lot's cool and everything's cool, but it's not like a sanctioned event. Yeah. And then even though it is, but still kind of a separation. And then like boom, you have your big events. You have your like Import Alliance and a Spring Meet Atlanta at the CNN Center. Yeah. And then you have, Southern Weather Sea, and then you have like First Class Fitment. I mean, you only had, I'm banging the table.
It's so easy.
I talk with my hands too. I'm going to keep it in my pocket. But like that, it was very like clear, like where those shows kind of ranked as far as what the event, mentality was.
I mean, for you in those 8 or 9 years that you were really like planning everything out in a notebook, what were the top shows that you were going to that you were really like paying attention to the things that they were doing and taking like inspirations or cues from it?
I mean, every single one.
Really?
I would take notes of like I would remember vividly writing the date and then filling up a page of paper or a half a page paper easy on just bullet points, just like, if I were to host an event, I would take these things from it, but I would also make sure that I don't do these things. And I'm not saying that obviously some of those were just like, this show shouldn't do that because it's obviously hurting their show. But it was mostly just like, this is their thing. I want to have my thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was the main takeaway. Is like, how can I progress as an event organizer? But also, I wanted to progress as a vendor too, because during those years, I mean, I had, like you, a media website that was more of a blog photography style site. And we had like 6 photographers all around the U.S. and a couple like Antoine Spignardo, like heavy hitter photographer out there. Courtney Cushion, who now shoots for BMW, was shot for us. Like, we were a very grassroots website. But I just mean like, and these were the early days of a lot of those people. I mean, Ant was already a professional at that point, but like, but me and my good friend Brad Robinson, we started that. But we were, I would say grassroots was the level. But we had a lot of fun with it, and we took it very seriously. And we vended at shows. We would go to shows, sell merchandise, T-shirts, stickers, or whatever. But we vended at shows like regularly. And so I wanted to know, as a vendor, how is the event organizer affecting my experience?
Right.
You know, like how can I be, one, a better vendor for event organizers, and
how can you be a better event organizer for vendors?
And I would make sure I would look at it from both instances, more so than like a spectator or even an attendee with a vehicle there. I would look at it as
absolutely
the business, like how does that work?
And no, I'm glad that you kind of like brought that up, because I think that's an important thing to take different perspectives from stuff as you're trying to learn about it to create a more well-rounded thing. And I think what you were trying to say about, you weren't ever, taking cues from stuff or like negative things from a show so that you could do like a better show than them. It's just so that you could do your own thing that was different and do the best show that you can. It's never like about competition or anything like that. And I think that's a really, really good and cool mindset to have, for sure.
Well, because I go to shows, and I went to shows for such a long period of time with a big core group of friends. Yeah. I mean, we would stack up 15, 20, 25 people in just a few rooms and like have some of the best like memories I've ever had.
Yeah, absolutely.
And coming from like the car community and stuff. And so, and it's not like craziness or whatever. It's just us experiencing a trip out of town with our friends, and somebody breaks down and we work on a car on the side of the road in the rain, or and we like,
it's like part of it. It's all part of it.
The whole journey. And so the reasons why we did that was because we were going to events, and whether they be car shows or like how Helen was, or H2O in Ocean City, or the Ocean City Strip. They're 2 different things. Yeah. But going to Ocean City and cruising the Strip with all the people and hitting all the pop-up meets. Like
disclaimer: before it got crazy and absolutely ruined.
Yeah, I'm talking like 2014, 2013. Like it's got a little age. Yeah. But those experiences I had were important, and they stuck with me. And I wanted to make sure that when I created an event, that it was so people could have those experiences with their friends, and they can create those like week-long memories where they plan out every single year. Like, I'm going to Helen to hang out for Solo and hit all the pop-up meets and like cruise the streets with my buddies.
Yeah, and
float down the river and they have that whole thing. And then next year, like as soon as the date's released, boom, we've got hotel rooms booked, or we've booked an Airbnb or whatever. Like, I love that. I love planning those trips with my friends. And so I wanted to make sure that like Riverside was one of those for people.
No, absolutely. And
nailed it.
Right?
I tried to.
Hopefully, people that are listening to kind of relate to that as well, because I think majority of us that go to car shows, like, there's some people that go because they want to like win trophies or whatever. And I don't think that those are the people that would listen to this podcast, but the majority of people that I think listen to this are people that, enjoy the experience. We really love cars. We love doing stuff with our friends and having a good time. And so I think that there could be some people listening that maybe don't know what Riverside is. And so as bare bones as you can, would you be able to just tell us, what is Riverside? What does Riverside stand for? Just what is Riverside?
Man, I don't know.
Come on, Mason. Come on.
All right, I feel like I've
okay, if you could narrow it down in a way that sells it as key points, what makes Riverside?
Paint the picture. So how about I give it a physical landscape first, and then kind of the passion part of it or whatever.
Perfect.
So Riverside is a car show that we host every spring in Chattanooga. It's downtown at the First Horizon Pavilion. Used to be the First Tennessee Pavilion until a couple of years ago. It's directly next door to and owned by the Stadium Corporation, Finley Stadium, which is a football and soccer stadium for our local CFC Chattanooga Football Club and UTC Mox Football Stadium. That's where it's at. So it's an event space. The pavilion is a 50,000 square foot open air pavilion that is used on Sundays in the warmer months for the Chattanooga market, and it's also just an event pavilion. I actually work for Finley, and we host events. So we had professional boxing one weekend last year. We have a couple weekends ago, we had the Girl Scout troops came to pick up their cookie orders, and it required hundreds of people and forklifts and trucks and a bunch of stuff. But we can provide a space for someone to do that, and it be an event space. We host big parties for corporations and stuff there all the time. But anyway, so maybe that kind of describes the building. Its purpose is to be used for events. It was I recently learned it was a bell factory. In the
bell factory?
Yeah, like large bells,
that's
in a
cool.
church bell or something.
I was gonna say Chattanooga is originally an industry town.
Yeah.
And so
it's a mill town for sure.
Yeah.
Or was a mill town. And being in the valley, Chattanooga was one of the dirtiest, polluted cities in the U.S. And now it's one of the cleanest cities in the U.S.
And it has all of this incredible industrial architecture left behind.
Yeah.
It's all renovated into restaurants and
it's
apartments
really cool.
and hotels. And that's why I love this place.
I mean, Chattanooga is there's a lot of square footage. It takes up a lot of real estate, but it's not a big city.
No.
It's a really, really big town mentality. I'm sorry, small town mentality. So a small city, big town is what I would kind of describe.
Yeah, I was gonna say
everybody knows each other, and we all went to school together, but it's still a city.
I always tell people when I'm downtown, it kind of feels like you're in a big city because you're surrounded by the buildings, but it doesn't come with all of the downsides of big cities.
You don't feel fucking lost.
Yeah.
You don't feel like you're a little fish in an ocean of a city when you're downtown. Being from Atlanta is so big comparatively. I don't know Atlanta like the back of my hand. At this point, excuse me, granted, I don't know street names. I've never been good at that. But if you drop me somewhere in Chattanooga, I can generally find my way to wherever it is that I want to go.
Yeah.
And it's that was one of the things that I noticed and really appreciated when I moved here was just the pace of life here is head and shoulders better than in and around Atlanta. But I don't know. It's a super, I don't know. I don't even know exactly how.
It has small town feels, but it has all the amenities that you need. And and it's surrounded by mountains.
I mean, we're an outdoor town. This is a brewery, a microbrewery beer town, without being it's a pretty hipster kind of a place, honestly. but it does it well.
Yeah, it really does. And I fell in love.
Without being like annoying about it.
I was going to say, it doesn't feel overwhelmingly like that.
Yeah, and Riverside is the reason that I live here now, because when I came to Riverside in 2017 for the first time, I rented an Airbnb out in Suck Creek, which I laugh at that name every time. The house was right on the river. It was beautiful. It was 5-10 minutes from downtown, and we just hang out. Like in the evenings, we'd like drive up into the creek and go swim. And it was April, so it was just barely like warm enough outside, and the water was freezing. But it was just so beautiful and nice, and being that close to a downtown area, but still having like all of the amenities of like outside hiking, swimming, all of that stuff. I loved it. And before I came, I remember seeing Riverside, and then it's in Chattanooga. I looked up what Chattanooga is, because I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, that is such a weird name for a city. And I looked it up, and I was like, oh shit, I've driven through here. It's like right on 75. Like, I used to live up in Detroit, and so I'd drive 75 down to like Florida all the time, and I'd pass through Chattanooga, and I'd never taken a second look at it until I actually stopped by for Riverside, and I really have not had a doubt in my mind that this is where I want to be. So thank you for that.
That's crazy. That's awesome. I mean, that's so humbling. Like,
yeah, no, I feel like
I'm happy. Like at least we gave you a reason to come and like just see how cool the town is.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a really cool thing that you try to implement that too a little bit into the show, is really trying to encourage people to like enjoy Chattanooga, like go to local businesses, all of that stuff.
Well, that was my thing too. Is like my story as far as that goes was that first year was the first time I had really been to Chattanooga, honestly. Like of course, living in Atlanta, I've certainly had heard the name and all that, but that was the first time I had ever been. And I remember, what is it, fucking 127? The highway that comes in past like East Ridge and all that shit. Is that 127?
24.
You talking about you talking about where it comes like over the hill and you can see the whole valley?
Right, dude.
Yeah, 24. Yeah.
Right there.
The S curve.
Literally right at that spot.
The ridge
minute
cut.
we crested the hill, I was like, "Oh my fuck!"
It's beautiful.
This place is so
it's
cool.
It's beautiful, yeah.
And like so, and then I got into town and I was just kind of driving around like just to get my bearings, and I was just like, "Damn, this is super cool." And then like, when I actually had the experience at the first Riverside, that just fucking sealed the deal for me, dude. I was like, this is where I want to be.
Anyways, continue explaining what Riverside is, because
ouch.
No, sorry, it's.
I mean, the thing here we can tie this into is like, I love Chattanooga. And it's obvious that other people fall in love with Chattanooga easily.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful town. It's so much fun. Like, it's not overbearing, but it's also just, it gives you enough where you can do whatever you want to here, and that's awesome. I don't know, like I've just never liked big cities. I've never been a big city guy. I dread driving to Atlanta if I'm going to like a concert or a show or something. It's just not for me. And it doesn't. It's not built on a grid system. It's confusing and but I was a cyclist for a long time, and I loved going to, like, some buddies and we used to go travel to ride towns and cities and stuff that we just wanted to like just enjoy, and just the sensation that like Chattanooga brings. It's so much fun to just be inside of and be on the road and be on the sidewalks and like hanging out with the people and like hearing the music and going by the river, and I just enjoy it. So Riverside is Chattanooga. I mean, I made sure Riverside Chattanooga was in the name. Like that's, it's important that people associate our event with this city.
Yeah.
I mean, every angle, every photo, every video of anything at Riverside doesn't need an explanation.
Yeah,
it's at Riverside.
It's like
that's
that,
one thing I've
Riverside.
always really liked is like it's exactly what you just said. Like if you see a photo from Riverside, it doesn't have to say you know
where it's at.
You know where it's at.
And I mean, there are hundreds of shows that are like that, and I love that. That was important to me. I wanted to make sure that if you just randomly flipped through your iPhone real fast and you roll across the car that was outside the pavilion or inside the pavilion or cruising down the street in downtown, like near the pre-meet or something, I wanted it to just be known that's Riverside, that's Chattanooga.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I always try to make sure, like, we host our pre-meets and our after-meets, and we do all that stuff. Like, we make sure that we work with local business owners, and so they can benefit from it and enjoy it. And
right. I mean, the last thing you want to do, which I feel like a lot of show owners maybe overlook, is becoming a nuisance for a town.
Oh my gosh.
And you know, trying to figure out from the jump where it's something that can grow with the city and it actively helps more people in the city.
Yeah.
I think that's you know, that's the best way to do anything sustainable is to be able to work, you know, within the area that you are, that it's based. You know, if you become a nuisance to the city that a show is based in, then how can you expect to keep doing it there? Tensions rise with, you know, authorities, all that kind of stuff. And dude, I'll just say, like, Chattanooga PD, every single time I've had like a run-in with them around Riverside, you'd think that it would be like an issue for certain things. Like, for example, the year that it got canceled because of COVID, like it was all over the place. Like, everyone was everywhere. People were trying to have meets in all kinds of parking lots and whatever. I remember being in a parking lot just figuring out where we're going to drive, and the cops pulled up and they were like, "Hey, you guys can't be in here." And we're like, "Oh, sorry." And then they were like, "But if you follow us, we can take you somewhere that's really cool if you want to take pictures." And we're like, "What?" And I remember, like, one of them pulled over my buddy for having his, like, Supreme license plate cover on, and he just wanted to take a picture of the car. And he's like, "Oh, you know, I noticed the plate, obviously, like, switch it out, but they're just cool. It's a mutual respect thing. It's like, if you're respectful to them, they're respectful back." And so it's nice to have that and it not be like a
we
issue.
just don't have, and it is nice, and we're lucky about that, but we just don't have like a massive amount of people who really like abuse Riverside in their vehicles. Yeah. So it's so nice that, like, we're not just automatically like ousted out. Like, you have a modified car, you're doing something dumb. Like,
right. And that can happen very easily.
Yeah.
With people.
And it would absolutely break my heart. Like,
mine too, dude.
I mean,
it isn't even my show, and I would.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just to tarnish. Like, I don't want, like, Riverside to just look like a great thing. Like, I want it to be a great thing.
Right, absolutely.
And I want it to be positive for the city. I mean, we have a very good relationship with the city. We have a very good relationship with our event venue owners. I mean, I literally got my job because our relationship has been so good. They offered me a job. Like,
right.
It is so important that Riverside has a positive impact on Chattanooga. And if it changes, that can't happen. You know what
exactly.
I mean? Like exactly. If it changes, I'll do everything possible to right the ship. I mean, and I always make sure that we, like, and it's not it. And I'm not just saying, like, we got to be cool so that the cops don't bust us up. No, it's more than that. Like our relationship with this city is vital. It needs to be good. I mean, if anything's going. I mean, the car community is a great thing, and I'm passionate about it, and I love it. I've based my life around it for most of my life now. And, like, I don't want to be a negative, like, person in my community.
Of course,
and that's so, like, crazy. I played punk rock for a long time, playing shows and, like, touring and stuff. So, I mean, like, I knew what it was like whenever I was around people that just wanted to, like, I just wanted to thrash for the sake of thrashing, and, like, and it's not cool. Like, it's not cool to be a bad person,
right?
And, so, and I always,
people,
like, when I was
chasing those short-term thrills or adrenaline or whatever, you know, it takes away from people that are genuinely passionate about something.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have so much fun. I drive my cars hard. I do all kinds of stuff that I want to do, like, in a respectful manner, and it's not about following laws and stuff. It's just about being, like, a good person in your community and not like destroying your surroundings.
My thing for that has always been the same, and it's always been really simple. There's a time and a place.
Absolutely.
That I mean, it literally is just that simple.
Yeah.
In regards to, like, any of this stuff, like, all of the people, I mean, anywhere, but in this context, in town, that use a car to show their ass. Like, we all love drifting. We all love fat burnouts. Like, well, I can't speak for everybody, but I certainly love all that shit. I think a lot of us do.
Yeah.
But, like, there's a time and a place. And fucking in the pavilion, in private parking lots, in the middle of, like, event, that's not the fucking place.
Don't shit where you eat. That's just, number one rule.
Yeah, and I mean, and all that, like, I mean, it goes without saying. Like, that doesn't even, like, deserve.
You would think.
I know, but it doesn't even deserve, like, effort for us to even, like, dive down that rabbit hole. Because it is. I mean, I would hope that anybody listening to this, especially if they're, like, new to the community and stuff, and they're attracted by, like, the takeover mentality and stuff, like, maybe they are listening and they're like, well, maybe they got something to say. Like, maybe I should, like, spend more time just enjoying my, like, experience in this town that I'm visiting and, like, checking out the cars and getting involved with, like, the community. I'm part of that, and, like, seeing the local places and not just, like, tarnishing my relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's my hope. I hope so one person takes that away. But and it's important. I guess it does need to be said.
Yeah,
but
no,
I just started rambling on about it. But I just mean, like, it. I don't know. We'll turn it into something else.
So moving more into the actual, like, show aspect of it. For anybody that isn't familiar with Riverside or what it is, what type of show is it? Like, how can you describe it? Like, what kind of things are you going to see there? What can you kind of expect as far as, like, a participation thing? Like, if you were to be a spectator and you show up at that event, what kind of cars are you going to see?
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it is mainly an import event. I personally come from the stance scene and community over the last, it was 2022 now, so I don't know, like 15 years or so.
Yeah.
And so, like, I love that. I love that scene, dude. Being in the drift community and like going to drift events. I don't drift. I want to, and I plan on learning soon. But just being in that community, like, I just.
I would say that makes up a large demographic of the cars that are there. But one thing that I always take from just observing Riverside shows is the amount of variety. Like, I don't think that. If you were to make a list of all of the stance shows that you were going to go to in a year, like, Riverside would be on that list, but it's not a stance show.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Like, there's so many different categories that it, like, could fit into.
So how about I, like, explain, like, some of the back end, like, logistics, like what's some of the I don't want to say image that we're going for, but what's kind of the mission statement?
Sure, yeah, please do.
And then also more than just, like, the number crunches, like I can just kind of give you, like, an idea about the vision. Yeah. So
we love vision on this show. Yeah. we drop that word way too often.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's important.
I was gonna say, it's not way too often if it brands it in people's heads.
Yeah,
exactly. Super important.
It is all about vision, guys. Cars, shows, whatever you do, have vision.
Have a vision and set goals and accomplish those goals. Work towards the ends of those goals. Don't just, like, all willy nilly, like, oh, I got a car, I got to put stuff on it. Oh, I don't have an idea what I'm doing. Yeah. And then, like, next thing you know, you just have some wild, like, thing with no vision that doesn't make any sense, or, like,
clout car. What?
Well, I mean, but at least if there's, like, a clout car, maybe they're going for, like, a certain vision of that clout car. But
my vision is to piss people off. Dude.
Yeah, I see that sometimes too. But, well, anyway.
Still vision at that, though.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's a pre-screened event. Every vehicle you see in the main event area has been handpicked by a panel of people, which we just call kind of like the Riverside panel. These are staff members. So we review registrations. You have to register online. You can use our app. We just have a Riverside app.
That's a great thing to mention, though. You guys have a fucking app.
Yeah. It is cool. Just drop that in real subtly.
Just brush over that. Yeah. Like, how many of these, like, shows that are doing tons of shows a year have an app?
That is a
Just
great
saying.
thing to mention because I didn't fucking know that.
Yeah, so we have an app. It's pretty cool. So you can register a vehicle there. You can edit your registration if it's still pending through the app. You can go to the online store through there.
How long has that been a thing? How the fuck
Years.
did I not know
Yeah.
about
No,
that?
it's been a thing for
3 or
years.
4 years.
What the
I do a
fuck?
terrible job at marketing it. It's my fault. 100%.
It's just one of those things that slips under the radar that is like a really cool attention to detail that
Yeah.
nobody. It's like building a show car and you got something that like nobody will ever see, but you did it anyway.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
like a
it is.
handful of people that notice it are like
This is a
really
fucking app.
appreciate
Yeah,
it. Like,
exactly.
Oh, okay. They went
Well,
like
I wanted to
beyond.
make sure that we name drop it in here because that's fucking cool.
Well, thank you. It is cool. Anyway, so
Actually, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Before we go anywhere else, talking of apps, this is a perfect time to just tie into our sponsor for this show.
Yeah.
Because we're back for season 2, I'm super excited to announce that we have a sponsor on the show, Wheel Price. If you guys are not familiar, they're an app where you can buy and sell wheels, and it's perfect for you guys that listen and watch this show because it's all the stuff that myself and Matt and Mason would probably buy and sell. If you go on there, you'll see anything, any kind of like Euro stuff, JDM wheels, whatever you can think of, it's probably for sale. Or, if you have something that you're looking to sell, you should get on there. But yeah, it's a really cool app. You can search in your area all over the US. And I don't know if it's available in other countries. I should have maybe looked that up. But shout out to Wheel Price. They are now going to be a sponsor on the show in the longer term. And we're super pumped to have them on board. And they're a great group of guys. And so if you guys want to go support them, please go check out the app. That's Wheel Price. You can download it on the App Store and probably for Android users, whatever the App Store is for them. Too. I don't know because I'm not a peasant. But yeah.
Did you actually just
moving on.
Can't deal with Androids, man. Maybe there's
Wheel Price gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna have to walk that back, buddy.
Well, here maybe I can make up for it. So I love Wheel Price. So
yeah, I was gonna say you know them too. So.
I'm a big fan. So they, it's so cool because Wheel Price is set up like the forum that was like back in the day. Like if you're on like VW Vortex or the Sandstorm forums and stuff, like that's what like us old heads like grew up on basically.
Yeah.
Just following forums and following builds and stuff. But I love that their website is kind of set up that way, and that's really cool. But they are enthusiasts.
Oh yeah.
It's not just some college kid came up with an idea and then dropped an app.
No,
and then they are enthusiasts. It is enthusiast driven.
That is a good point to mention. Yeah. I would not have a sponsor on this show if it wasn't something that I was genuinely passionate about.
Yeah.
So this was something that I reached out to Wheel Price about because I think that they are doing an incredible job. I think that you guys that are listeners, this is a great fit for you guys. So please go check it out. I don't think you guys are going to be disappointed with that app at all. And if you're in the market for wheels, which as enthusiasts, when are you not in the market for wheels?
I'm a big wheel guy.
Big wheel.
Yeah, I've always been a wheel guy. I love wheels.
I think a lot of us are.
Yeah,
it's a big part of a show car is wheels.
Yeah, classic Japanese wheels is definitely my favorite. I've always had some kind of collection of classic Japanese wheels. Oh man, I just love it. And I mean, and that's one of the things that like those are obviously it's a big point when like reviewing like Riverside registrations.
Yeah.
Like wheel culture more than just like.
Oh no, yeah,
like,
for sure.
Oh, so I got some 3-piece like whatever new American brand wheel. There's no culture.
People that are doing stuff that's like period correct for the build, things that fit like certain things, and like me and Matt have spoken about too. Like even cool OEM wheels, you can find them on Wheel Price too. Like there's so many weird options that I've come across on there.
I've been giving some extended thought, and I've started to compile a list with photos. It might be something that I do on the Instagram or the Substance Matt Instagram, or if I can find like an even better way to like spread it out. But I've started to like take stock of OEM wheels that I like see out that I fucking love. And honestly, even the list that I have now, as I like scroll down and look at it, I'm like, this is kind of cool. Like
it's super cool.
Just because, and we, obviously I've talked about it in another episode, but like, it's just kind of unbelievable that when you like tune into that and you start to like look at that,
when you have an appreciation for it.
Like there are
such a
so
cool thing.
many cool fucking factory wheels. And it's just such a good alternative to just buying fake wheels for the sake of having like the look, even though we obviously won't go into the thing that we've had multiple episodes about, but the point is just like, this is my long-winded way of agreeing with you guys that wheels are an unbelievably important part of that. And, you know, when somebody puts the forethought into it, you know, with wheel culture in mind, or goes out of their way to find like a really cool set of OEM wheels, like shit goes a long way.
Yeah, I mean, I came from the Euro scene. Like I had Mark IVs before I had anything else.
Yeah.
And so I was surrounded by, you know, a lot of factory wheel cars, just you know, not running any stretch, but like running like the perfect like
fucking Audi 5-spoke wheels on old Volkswagens.
Yeah, Fat Fives. Yeah, I had some. Yeah, I mean,
I always wanted a
Aristas,
set.
all the BBSRCs. Like I loved all the like cool OEM 5x100, 5x112 wheels that like people would, you know, you could do that back in the day and it'd be like, it's not frowned upon. I mean, you still can do it and it's not frowned upon. It's just the general like consensus has changed.
I would be fine with Bentley wheels making a comeback because that was so big in Europe for me. Like growing up, I saw so many cars.
Those are like the close face wheels, right?
Yeah, I might have to go like find a set to run as daily wheels on the LS.
There's a set in Chattanooga right now.
Is there really?
Yeah, I've almost bought them.
Are they chrome?
I'm sorry, it's not in Chattanooga. They're in Ohio, but I know the guy.
Man needs to get on Wheel Price. Is it on Wheel Price?
Probably. I'll shoot him.
I'm gonna go hit up his ad and be like, "Hey, I'm interested in your wheels, but I'll only buy them if they're on Wheel Price."
Yeah, smart. There you go. Plug that. No, I love OEM wheels. Yeah, I thought about buying those. Carly just got an S212,
which I'm very excited.
Yeah, I saw that. That thing is sick.
Yeah, and I was like, maybe I'll just buy them and like she'll like come home and I'll surprise her with wheels. I mean, because she loves wheels too. Like, she's a huge wheel nerd and for example, my wife, she's got an S124, an 89 300 TE, the wagon, the estate.
And she put some of my favorite fucking wheels.
Yeah.
And it's my favorite color.
Two-tone white.
I walked in. I had no idea what wheels she put on, and I walked into the garage and I went, "Holy fuck! No, you did not."
Wait, are you talking about the OZ Operas?
The Operas,
The two-piece OZ Opera 2s.
I wanted to get those for the Majesta so bad. So when I walked in and I saw them on her car, I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah, there was a night. I think this was spring 2020, the year that the event got canceled, and or I guess we rescheduled it until October. But it was either the day of the pre-meet or the night before the pre-meet. So like a Thursday night, we were our good friend Corey Marshall. Shout out to him.
Shout out Corey.
Corey. He practically bagged that car by himself in a matter of a few days.
Was that when him and John came? Yeah, that was when him and John came.
Him and John had been
2 weeks or whatever.
They came down and
when was it right when Nashville had that tornado? Like, wasn't that right then? Like a week before then?
I don't remember when.
I could have sworn. Never mind.
I remember that, but I don't remember.
It's irrelevant to the story. I'm just trying to picture it in my mind.
While you guys are trying to remember that, I just want to do a shout out to Corey because he is one of probably like 10 people in the U.S. that is still running an OG Not Fast sticker on his car.
Is he really?
So, I appreciate that now, and I always have, man.
Everything comes full circle around here. I love that.
Sick.
Such a cool car. It's a great style. I mean, and but anyway, he
OEM wheels on that car.
Yeah, OEM wheels on that car. So he practically bagged that car himself, and we were polishing out the lips on these OZ Opera 2s for that car. I mean, but they fit it so well. It's such a fat 5-spoke face.
Well, it's almost like the OG like Brabus wheels or whatever, right? Yeah.
And but anyway, I love wheel culture.
I was gonna say I really went off on a tangent with the whole wheel thing.
Riverside, like car, like what to expect. That's what we were on. So like what you see and stuff.
Yes.
So registrations come in. Usually we have registration open up for like 2 or 3 months. Kind of depends on when the event is. If it's in like early March or late March or early April. For example, Riverside 7 is actually April 2nd, coming up in just a few weeks. I am busy. I should be at home working on it right now, but I'm here hanging out with you. I should be at home asleep right now. My little girl's asleep probably.
This counts as working on it.
I'm working.
Promo,
this is marketing. This is Riverside work.
Yep.
Oh man, it's never turned
You
off.
can write off the Zaxby's because you came over here to talk about Riverside.
Yeah. So so registrations come in. We have like a panel of people that vote on each registration.
Is it like X Factor where you all sit there with like a fucking you're all
buzzer,
judges with your fucking big thing? You're like, fuck that thing. Get out of here. No.
Yeah, not quite. So we have I mean, every year is different, but something we have about 400, maybe 420 kind of reserve
420,
spaces.
you say?
Yeah, roughly.
Yo, you need to change the event day, my guy.
Yeah, so we have about roughly 420 event spaces like available. And if we need to customize that, if like there's a big influx of registrations one year, like we can add on to it by creating like some more custom spots or like renting out more parking lots and things like that. But the intention, the long-term vision is to not be a larger scale event. I don't want to have more cars. I want to have high quality cars, but also just like every vehicle, car, truck, van, whatever it may be, motorcycle, scooter, has that spark.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have the perfect word to fill in with it. Substance.
Has vision.
Damn it. No, every car has substance.
Yes, substance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's
the same
that's
word.
why. It's because
Because of my accent.
I figured that's how it
That was
came from.
part of the
Substance.
brand.
But
We like cars with substance.
Every
approved
there
vehicle has substance. No,
Yes.
you're absolutely right. There is something there. It's not about who spent more money on their car or like a certain. There's no like laundry list of items you could put on your vehicle and it get approval for Riverside. Don't build your car for a show. Do not build it for Riverside. That's very like.
Damn,
awesome
that's why I can't finish my car.
But don't do that. Build your car for yourself.
I've been trying to build my car for Riverside for years, and it always falls through. So that must be it. Damn it.
No, I mean that's why all of my cars are always like halfway put together whenever I bring it to the event. But anyway, no, I mean just these vehicles that one. It's very easy to just understand. If a number of people, if like 8 people are voting on a vehicle, whether it gets approval or not, if it fits kind of that vision of what Riverside, the essence of the feeling you get when you're there and you're surrounded by the vehicles there, if it doesn't add to that, it doesn't make the cut. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
I can't say like, well, your car has this and this and this.
Well,
so
yeah, no,
it's
and
approved. It's
we'll
not
just call
that,
it
that's not how it
trade
works.
secrets.
Yeah.
We'll call it trade secrets.
Well, I mean, there's just no there's no like formula. There's no like
Right.
it's got to fit a mold, because if it just fits the mold, then
That's all gonna be the
I'm
same.
gonna see that everywhere.
That's
Like,
why it's important that you have a panel of people that are going through them.
Yeah.
It's not just one person like yourself sitting behind a desk and then you're biased to just the cars that you like.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
you have a bunch of different people from different backgrounds that like different shit.
Absolutely.
That are like, okay, I like this, and then you can kind of all kind of agree. They're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this fits, the criteria of it just feels like a car that should be at Riverside.
I mean, most of us all kind of came from a similar like background in the automotive community, anyways.
Yeah,
but
it's
we're
still,
all very different people.
right. It's still a peer review system.
Yeah.
It's not just
Yes.
one person.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, each registration is reviewed. We thoroughly go through them. We try to see kind of all the way around the event, or all the way around the vehicle, not just for like imperfections or whatever. It's sometimes those imperfections are what make your car cool or like pleasing to look at aesthetically. Like it depends on the vehiel.
Can you give an example of that?
The aura of that vehicle.
Because otherwise, I'm going to start hearing kids with like clap fenders be like, "That's what makes my car cool."
Mason
said so.
Mason Gavin say that.
I don't know, man. It's
Okay. I feel like with like rat rod stuff, like little details, like if somebody like fucked up a fender on a Beetle and then they replaced the fender with a bunch of license plates, that's cool because it's a rat rod.
I feel like, I mean, if you have common sense in relation to like car stuff, I feel like that answer is just kind of like rat rod, patina type shit. Like if your fender's like for me personally, the only time that I think a car with like a clearly fucked up body panel is like okay, I would say is like off-road stuff.
Off-roads or even drift cars. Like we have like purpose-driven drift cars there that'll show up with like
definitely part of it.
Well, we've had a couple of cars have to be rolled off the back of a trailer because they blew their motor up.
Right.
Or they had to pull their engine the night before.
And like a cool thing is that like those imperfections.
It's you feel that.
Yeah, those imperfections kind of tell a story.
Yeah, there's no awards. We don't have trophies. We don't do any award ceremony or anything.
I'm not coming.
Yeah. so because of that, like we want to make sure that the vehicles that are there because they're passionate and it shows.
Yeah.
Like the owners like live and breathe.
Right, and it doesn't have to be perfect cars.
Yeah.
Not at all. Like, it doesn't need to be, like, the most top-tier show ever where every single car is absolutely split. It's not a concourse.
No, 100%. No, and also it's not a one genre.
Right, it's not a stance show.
Yeah, it's not a stance show.
It's not specifically an import show.
We have an entire off-road section. We have a street truck section, and an off-the-road vehicle truck section that has like vans and even some like purpose-built like cars.
Dude, you see lowriders. Big thing for me that drew me in is the VIP cars. There's so many VIP cars that come out. Shout out to all the Liberty. Is it Liberty Mines? Yeah, Liberty Mines and
Liberty
Fortune Mines.
Liberty
Fortune Mines and Liberty. Yeah. God, I sound like such a
Infamous. Solo Atlanta's been
There's
a bunch of years.
So many dope like VIP like crews and stuff that will come out, and that's a huge thing for me. Like I'm hugely involved in all that stuff. I love it. But yeah, lowriders, mini trucks.
There was a full rally spec Impreza there.
There was a hot dog truck, like a literal wiener dog truck.
The Wienermobile.
The Wienermobile.
The Wienermobile.
Yeah, like it's a giant hot dog on wheels.
You just have to say the Wienermobile.
Hey,
everybody watching this and listening to this literally already knows what
I am not American, and so I have to like describe it for all of the people who live across the pond.
If we did awards, that one would get all of it. Just to do it.
I fucking every year I go to Riverside. The fucking Wienermobile wins all the awards.
Best wheel fitment, best all the stuff.
I wonder if there's an auction for like old Wienermobiles, because I would definitely buy one. Imagine that being like just a merch thing.
Well, what if you like bagged a Wienermobile?
That's what I'm saying. You can sell merch out of it. Every shirt gets a free wiener.
Does that fucking Wienermobile have Wed's Kranzes on it? Like what the fuck?
Yeah,
that would be gas.
So.
Lost the train.
We got too far off track.
The variety of cars there.
Yeah, it's a big variety, and also like and that's the thing too. Like our like quote unquote like show car section, our approved event vehicle display area is all outdoors. So that's kind of our thing too. Like we don't have like a tiered parking system. It's not in comparison to events that do. It's just I intentionally wanted to make sure that like if it's inside the pavilion, it's a vendor booth car, it's with a vendor, and I trust my vendors to only bring heat.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean heat as in like super well executed high-end builds.
No,
like
I'm going to bring
everything.
I'm going to bring my Foreman this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Foreman
well,
group.
I mean, if it looks great and you are a reputable vendor, bring whatever you want to bring.
Yeah, I only bring heat.
Those cars don't get reviewed at all. Those are just automatically approved. The vendor booth cars have their own like specific code and everything. Like we trust our vendors, and it kind of brings back to what I was talking about earlier. Like I care a lot about my vendors' experience there, and it's not just so that they make more money or anything. I just want them to be like, I want them to be successul, but I want them to have fun too. Like I want them to go to an event because a lot of people like this is their full-time job, and so if you're there, I don't want you to be miserable about being at your job. Like I want this to fuel your passion.
Well, and just one thing I want to say that me and Liam can both attest to, having been vendors at Riverside, is like, not to gush, but like the smoothness with which you handle all of the moving parts going on. As vendors, if we needed something, we could talk to Mason about it, and it's just like one way or another,
or anyone
in a timely manner. it's going to get done.
Well,
if we need help with something, that help is going to come.
And all of the staff know what the fuck is going on too.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's a big thing. Like I've definitely turned up to other shows and asked a member of staff, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know, dude. That's not my job."
Because that's okay. I think really the actual show day. That's one of the things that makes Riverside shine, and it's just, I mean, really people that are in the show, spectators. It's really easy to overlook that shit, but like you and your staff, which I know that is it's that in and of itself is a hand-selected group of people. Mm-hmm. Like that's really this really understated thing that makes Riverside shine. Because like for me, that is one of the parts that makes Riverside as good as it is just
how smooth it
is. You know what I mean? Because like if it wasn't as smooth as it was, it could still be, you know, like quality-wise, it could still be just as good as it is. But, you know, when things go wrong, obviously people notice that. You know, if you're waiting at the entrance for an inordinate amount of time because, like, the event organizers are realizing there's a problem with how they are executing something, that, you know, people notice that.
Yeah,
and it's like,
it sticks out for sure. It makes you enjoy your experience less.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't mean to interrupt you.
No. By all means.
So I mean,
we want to hear you talk.
We're interrupting you. So please don't apologize.
So every detail is hand touched. It's everything at Riverside is by design. We've thought about it all. We've been to all of the events. We study all of the events. And it's not just me. It's our
and this is year 7.
And
so it's like you've done it for a little while too.
We're and most of us have been doing it. Like most of the staff has been staff since day one.
Well, for the record, it is year 7. Obviously, they have it down to a science now. But I mean, I'll tell you, even the first year, it was very noticeable. I mean, again,
because I wanted you to feel that.
Yeah, you know, because of first year, there were some logistics things that you guys were probably learning, but I wouldn't have noticed that. Even year 1, it was going really smoothly.
Well, thank you. I mean, that's awesome to hear because that's important. That is a goal, so that every moment that you're there, it's just flowing smoothly. Something has already been thought out.
Right.
Like it's not. I maybe I just take that from me being a vendor at events before with the drift and stuff. I don't know. I like those details as an event organizer. I want to make sure that the event is fun.
Yeah.
And just flows well, has a purpose, has a vision from beginning to end. I mean, there's a schedule for every minute. Something is scheduled. Like we take care of our staff. Everybody's paid well. Everybody like works together. But also like literally everyone on staff, I can pull from any job and put them somewhere else with just little to no direction, and they will execute that job well. Oh, yeah. Everybody knows what to do.
Well, and it seems to me that everybody wants to be there.
And everybody does want to be there. And honestly, like that's a thing that I don't talk about enough. Like I appreciate my staff so much because they're all good friends of mine.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to ask my friends the reason why I made this event is for my friends to have something to go to.
And not only do you not get to enjoy it, your friends now don't either.
My friends, hey, I created this thing for you. I want you to work the whole time.
Yeah. But it's kind of it's that sacrifice that you make to put on something for other people. Further down the line, other people get to come to the show and they get to enjoy it with their friends. You're doing that for the community.
And I hope that the influence that Riverside gives out to other events or anyone that attends events, like I hope that it helps other people have fun too, is what I'm trying to get at. But
it helps me.
Well, yeah, you're succeeding so far, and I got about 10 people that'll repeat that.
Well, I mean, and that's all I can ask for. Like that's the goal of Riverside. It's not I don't want to have 10 events. I don't want to make $1 million every year. I don't want to do any of these like lavish things. Like I just want Riverside to be a well executed event that's a lot of fun to go to, everybody involved, and that's not like a burden.
Earlier when I was like, hey, can you Can you explain to the people that don't know what Riverside is as briefly as possible?
That was
the sentence?
You just did the clickable quote.
Well, this is how long it takes us to circle around. I'm trying to keep us on track.
No, that's great. It doesn't matter when it happens as long as it does.
Well,
because
cool.
that's now the clippable moment at the start of this podcast. When I hear it, I'm like, all right.
I vote the thing that Matt said earlier.
Hey, I mean, that's still pretty funny, but it doesn't help you promo shit.
I know. I really should do a better job on like.
Hey, no, it takes talking for an hour and 15 minutes to narrow it down as perfectly as possible.
Yeah, because it gets distilled.
You know what it really does. Like, you break down every part of it, and then you're
all
like,
all of the talking and all, because that happens to us all the time.
Yeah,
like anytime we have like an epiphany on this show, it comes like 2/3 of the way through the show because like
that's what we should have been talking.
We've talked about all of this stuff and like. It gets distilled.
Well, it
and
finds
goes
its
through all the
soul,
filter. Yeah. So no, that's fantastic.
No, I get it, but that's that you guys are figuring that out. Like this is still early on for you, but you guys are killing it. Like I love all of your episodes.
We appreciate that, man.
I mean, it's genuine. Like I genuinely enjoy watching them. And
Mason has been on them. Without consent multiple times now.
Yeah.
We've name dropped Mason. We've name dropped Riverside,
and he has called the worst.
And he has called
for anybody that has not connected this yet. This is the gentleman that called at the beginning of episode whatever.
2 or 3.
Whichever episode it was.
And I showed up that day too.
Yeah, you poked my head into the door like, oh hey.
I was running out with Ben. And then also on
you called when me and Ben recorded a video the other day.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for the merch plug though. You're like, go buy merch at LEPautomotive.com.
Gotta support the friends and the homies' businesses and stuff. Like
hey, there you go.
This is like we love what we do. So like I want everyone to
do well.
Do well with it. I mean,
dude, and I just want to say like touch on that a little bit, at least with my personal experience with Riverside. I had been going to the show from the second year, 2017, and I like fell in love with it and made sure it was going to be something that I came back every single year. And I was recording vlogs and stuff every year, but I wasn't, I'd never met you. I don't think I met you until I vended at the show, which by then was like my third year there. And so I just recorded vlogs because I love the show. I love my experience and my time there. And I started noticing that like you I think it was on the Riverside YouTube account would like comment on the thing like even like months later after you just like find the vlog randomly and you're like, oh shit, thank you so much. And I always really like, from my perspective, I always really appreciated that you were actively going out and looking to see what people had done and posted and making sure to say thankful and be thankful, and that made me want to come even more because it showed that you really appreciated that I went and just went out of my way to like record the videos. And I remember I met you at Simply Clean, and on my drive down to Simply Clean, I recorded a video of me driving my LS the 14 hours with like no support car, no parts, anything, just like dragging ass the whole time. And on that drive down, as I was driving through Chattanooga, I made sure to plug Riverside. I was like, dude, I want a vendor next year. I'm like super excited and nervous about it. I really hope that they would accept me because I know that they're like picky and they have really, really cool brands there and whatever. And I met you at you guys did an after meet for Simply Clean.
Yeah, which year was that? 2018? We did 17, 18, and 19. Where was it? Was it at Donnie's?
It was in that massive parking lot that's next to whatever the
Daytona 1. It's next door to the track.
Yeah.
So that was 2019.
Yeah. So I didn't meet you until 2019. I've been coming.
I thought we had met each other before.
No, not at all. But I was just such a big fan of the show, and when I started like seeing that you were like really appreciative of me just loving the show, that
That's
hit.
So cool.
That hit that made me want to go.
I love that.
And when I got approved to be a vendor, I lost my mind. I was like, holy shit! Like I put this show on such a pedestal. It means so much to me. I love this, and for this to be my first show that I get to be a vendor at and like unveil my kind of brand and everything, I was so excited. And then it got canceled the day before, and I had invested all of my money into it. It was terrifying, but the way that it was handled on your end was just incredible. And since then, like we've had such a good, relationship. And I've picked your brain on so many things to do with the show and cars in general. And like, I look up to you. There's a lot of things that like you're doing.
Same. Not to gang up on you.
No,
you're an inspiration, but we both really do, man. It's just like you.
Mason? Oh,
that means a lot.
You got to duck down a little bit because your head's popping out the top of the frame now.
Oh my god! I mean that seriously, like, yeah, I feel that.
No, and
That's awesome.
I just have this huge personal connection with Riverside, and it wasn't anything that you ever pushed on me or anybody from Riverside pushed on me. I just came because I liked the show, and every year I'd fall more and more in love with it. And, last year I went through a really, really, it's not last year now, it's like over a year ago, but I went through a really, really rough period through like wintertime. Wintertime's always rough for me, owning a business, everything's really slow. And leading up to Riverside, I was so overwhelmed with so many things that I had going on. And I held on because I knew that Riverside was coming up, and like I went to Riverside and everything was better. Everything. It hit
awesome.
so hard that I had people that wanted to support what I was doing, and that like so many people would come out to the show, and it's just a good time. Like it just really, really is a good time. Good. And I just look forward to it every year, and I really, really love this show.
It's funny when I think about it. Speaking of vending, so I vended there with Not Fast. Ultimately, I think it was only twice, because the first year I didn't vend. The first year was like me checking it out, and you and I talked about it at that Vial meet, right? And like you said, that was like the first time you and I kind of like talked and encountered each other.
Yeah.
But it's like, so I kind of showed up with Tyler, and I was like I said, from that pre-meet on, I was like, this is fucking cool. I don't even know what's going on, and this is just fucking awesome.
Cool.
And so you and I chatted at the pre-meet, and it's like at this point in time, like you and I were cool, but we hadn't had any extended conversation, anything like that, But then when I applied to be a vendor, you like reached out to me and we chatted a little bit about that. You were just kind of telling me how it was going to be laid out, like asked me if I need anything, this, that, and this and that. And I got to tell you, man, it's like, it's kind of a similar thing to him. I, first of all, Not Fast vended at 4 shows in the entirety of the time that it was operating. 2 of them were Riverside. Two of them
crazy.
And it's like, when that second year came around and I applied to vend and we got accepted, I literally remember this. Me and Tyler were sitting at dinner, and I got the email, and I was like, oh, fuck. He's like, what? I'm like, bro, we got accepted to vend at Riverside. He was like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, dude, fucking holy shit.
That's
because
awesome.
even just in that first year, it just had, I could tell, and like everybody could tell, like this is gonna grow very quickly. This is a really good event.
Dude, you get that feeling. I feel like it's when you go to the first pre-meet, like especially with the one that I went to that was at like that square across from Pickle Barrel, like you knew it was something special. The first year that I went and I rocked up to that pre-meet, I was like, this is something special.
Well, what's funny is this was in the past, so any vendors don't get butthurt if you can't do this anymore. But because me and Mason developed a relationship so fast, but also at the time they didn't have nearly as many vendors. I had the Not Fast booth in the corner. We had a 4-car booth set up. I still look at the pictures of that booth setup.
It was such a great setup. The way you had them parked and stuff, I loved that. Dude,
and it's like all 4 cars that I had were all feature cars, so they were all cars that I was like obsessed with. I remember like when I was able to leave the booth like during the show, even obviously looking at it with nobody around is different, but even looking at it with people around and just seeing all of these people looking at these cars, for me, that was one of those moments just as pertains to Not Fast where I'm like, holy fuck, Matt, look what you did, man.
Yeah, and you should be proud of that too. Like the way you set your cars up that year, one, you had some of the coolest cars there because those cars had more style than most of the ones that were in the parking lot and inside the pavilion. And like, that was huge. But the way you parked your cars and like your mindset, I remember talking to you about it and like kind of watching you from afar while I was helping other vendors like I remember watching the way you set your cars up, and I've always taken pride in how I park my cars. I know you do too.
Oh yeah.
And that's so cool because so many vendors don't. But the way you did it specifically influences the way I set up the pavilion in following years. Like I make sure that when vendors come in and I'm helping them find their space and I'm showing them their boundaries and their outlines and stuff, like if they don't already have a layout, like you already have a layout, so that's great. Yeah. And I know it's gonna kill and it's gonna look great and you're gonna work well with your neighboring vendors and you're gonna work well with the walkways and it's all important to you. Thank you for being a great vendor.
Hey man.
But for you came with
your own
suck. No, yeah. No, but that year you came with so much such a good presence that I wanted to make sure that I made sure all of my vendors were set up with equally as good presence. I wanted to make sure that they had this statement and they weren't just like, I got my booth, here's my stuff, I got a flag up, whatever, here's some cars and they're kind of weird. Like you made sure every single one didn't have like a bad angle. Yeah. Like a photo could be taken of any car at any angle and it's going to be great. And also just when you're walking through it, it's pleasing and it's not like, you don't feel like you have to like snake through stuff. Like it flowed.
Fuck yes.
So great. And I thank you. Like that.
I thank you. This is.
That was important.
In a not big-headed way, this is really awesome to hear. It's like that's the thing, man. Is like I said, we only were vendors at 4 shows in the entirety of the time, and 2 of them were Riverside. If it was 4 shows and 3 of them were Riverside, I would be even happier. It's that was just, and eventually, when shit started to get out of control in my life and, Not Fast just kind of took a back seat. The thing that I was clinging on to was just various levels of maybe we're just super low key every year until Riverside rolls around and then we just purchase a booth and we're like, hey, we're still here and we have products. That was kind of my way of thinking for a long time is just as long as I can not burn this down and be able to go to Riverside with new and exciting products and set up I was honestly don't give a fuck about any other show. And I'm still, honestly, man, I'm still kind of like that.
I just got to that point now where Riverside is that's my priority for years. As far as events, everything else I couldn't give a shit.
For me, it is I don't want to say the end all be all because I obviously whatever SOWO is. At this point, I don't really remember the name of it, but
Alpine Bag
Fair. Yeah, Alpine Bag Fair, put on by the Paul Barney Tripper.
It's not
killer.
Not, yeah,
I
it's
love
not,
Alpine, but
which I think we're gonna try and go. We're gonna try.
We're going. We're going.
I know you are. Me and Matt are trying to go.
Not the. It's not the same, obviously, but it's not for nothing too. So Mason had been going for a lot longer than I have, but for anybody that knows
to Riverside,
yeah, Mason. I think Mason's been to every one. Actually,
Mason's been
he may have missed a couple.
I almost missed last year because Carly was
that's right.
She was 8 months and 2 weeks or whatever. She gave birth the week after. Right? Was it the weekend after?
You said right, I'm gonna fucking know.
Well, I'm trying to remember what day the show was on this last year because our daughter was born on the 1st of April. So whatever, it was a week or so after the event. But she was whipping around a golf cart the whole show.
Yeah.
Riverside,
I remember
super pregnant, being a trooper.
Shout out to Carly, by the way. Carly is absolutely great, and we love her.
Yeah, I mean Carly's a massive piece of Riverside, and it's just, Riverside wouldn't be here without her help. That's 100%.
I envy you guys so much because it must be so nice to have a partner for your life that is so just passionate about the same fucking things that you are, and you guys just
so cool.
Power couple.
She's
man.
Way too cool for me. I mean, seriously, I love her with every fiber in my body, but that, and it's so awesome that we get to share each other's passions and stuff, and we feed off of each other's things.
I've told Mason this 20 times. They're couple goals.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I hate
we're our own flavor. We work for us.
You're gonna buzz thing, but honestly, just the connection first of all, but just the way that you guys, I don't want to say work with each other, but I mean, it kind of is that, like, just the way that you guys communicate with each other, and it just, you guys just fucking work, man. You just work.
You're gonna make me cry because I'm gonna be sad that I don't have that, and it's what I would love. Someday.
It's the best.
Hey, if you're listening to this show and you want that,
Liam is
hit my boy up.
single and ready to mingle.
Please.
Yeah.
Really quick to change gears so Liam doesn't cry. One thing
what?
that
Liam doesn't cry?
That was a joke.
I was gonna say I definitely
just
cry.
A joke. No. So what I was gonna say is the other show that sticks out in my head was Solo, right? And Solo. I went to Solo before Riverside was a thing.
Well, because the last Southern Worthy was 2015.
Right. So that was my first like show that I went to when I like got into all of this. Mm. What an incredible first show to go to, getting into all of this. Like,
and not just the show, just the whole experience, the whole town, all the meets. It's way more than that show.
Hey, you said this was something that wasn't gonna make me cry.
Oh, because you
I never got to go because it stopped the year I moved to the U.S.
So what I was gonna say is like
I cry when I think about it. I miss Worthy so bad. But hey, man, Alpine, seriously, like Paul Barney kills it. Like
the energy is not the same, but it's very.
It's not even supposed to be like a replacement event or anything like that.
No,
it's its own thing, and it executes it so well. Paul Barney is a massive inspiration.
Really?
Like seriously, like as an event organizer, his events, I mean, they just have so much like, and he's been around for a long time. Like he's been in the scene for a long time. And I come from the Euro, like I said earlier, like I've had a bunch of Volkswagens and stuff. So like, I mean, my first Southern Worthy was either 2009 or 2010. I don't remember, but like, and we've been every year since.
Yeah.
And we just came back from Eurotripper actually just a few weeks ago in Fort Myers.
Is that another one of his events?
Yeah, that is like
his
the main event, I think. But
dude, is it ever weird that like the way that you're talking about him, you know that you're that guy?
Yeah, exactly. You're that guy for so many people.
Well, I mean, and I mean that's an ultimate goal of mine. Obviously.
Yeah, I mean,
like, I
that's
strive to be. I hope to be influential and help people.
I'm the same way. Dude.
Yeah,
like I want to leave a legacy for like
Absolutely.
people younger than me. I want to encourage people to like find your passions, do fucking cool shit, improve on it, like all that stuff. So
yeah, but I mean, all like that event. I mean, Southern Fresh, Joe, his event is March 5th, so like next weekend. And
oh shit!
You should go down with us.
I'm supposed to be going down to Destin, but honestly,
don't go to Destin.
I don't know if it's going to happen.
Come to Marietta.
Everything is falling apart right now. And
I don't know if it's going to happen because my life is.
No, not even that. Like, okay. Little hint, which Matt, please do not reveal the vehicle, but as you are listening to this episode, I'm on my way to Florida to pick up a vehicle I imported from Japan. So we're kind of.
That's Monday, right?
Yeah, well, that's when this episode comes out. So,
yeah, but the show's Saturday.
I know, but it's all pending on this fucking dickhead that's supposed to be coming to pick up my truck today and can't respond to damn messages. So,
but he's like outside right now.
Yeah. Dude,
he left.
Can you imagine? He's just sitting outside.
He wrote a note.
Liam's phone is like blowing up right now. He's just ignoring it. Dude's like standing outside the garage, like I can hear you. You know.
To give context, a guy bought my truck and he gave me a deposit, which is a substantial amount of money, and he's supposed to be coming back today to give me the rest of it and take the truck home. But he has not responded to texts. And the only text I got from him today is to say that he can come Monday. And I told him absolutely not. I have a flight booked. So we agreed Friday. And he is not here. So I'm hoping he comes Saturday.
Where's he located? Let's just go drop it off.
Fucking East Brainerd, dude.
Plot twist.
He's in East Brainerd?
Yes.
Just ask him for an address. We'll drop it off. Tell him to leave an envelope outside. Call him up. We'll be back, y'all.
Yeah, I call him up on the show. I'm like, hey, you're on this. No, I do it on the show. I'm just like, you're on the Substance podcast. Come and get this fucking thing.
Yeah. No.
Anyways, yes. If Destin doesn't work out, I'm 100% game for Southern Fresh. I really have wanted to go to a Southern Fresh show for years because shout out to Southern Fresh. You guys do a killer job of your marketing. When you did was it the VHS tape thing?
Yeah. No.
Sick. Sick.
Yeah. His tickets every year, like the way the marketing for all of his events, always are so cool.
I can't brush over that and then not talk about yours, especially for this year. like the. I gotta hype you up way too much, but the flyers.
Dustin did this. Dustin.
Dustin Williams,
is somebody that is a good friend of mine that
he needs to be on the show.
Yes, he does.
He's going to be.
Yes,
all right, Dustin's next.
We'll
have 4 of us.
I was chatting with him about that recently, and I've known in my head for months now that I've wanted him to be on the show because, like we said, if you see Riverside's current promotional stuff, he designed that.
So
and
good.
his brand called Okie Doke, it's at Okie Doke brand on Instagram, he was one of those memorable moments for me in Not Fast because the first show that we didn't vend there, we just went.
The skate park one?
The skate park, yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
Damn it! I remember seeing
not at that time.
and I was like, "Why is there not more stuff like
But
that?"
I was there. Yeah,
I saw that Dude in Blues video from it. And I was like, "Fuck! I wish I went to that."
Me and Tyler showed up, and we were just
fun show.
We were just in like regular clothes, and
you don't wear regular clothes when you go to
we didn't have
as opposed to like his fucking PJs or some shit.
Yeah,
like what?
Suit and tie.
We didn't have
Mr.
any
Dapper.
like.
We were disguised as NPCs.
We didn't have any Not Fast identifiers on, okay? And so
I'm the worst with that.
We walked in, and this man walks up and goes, "Oh, hey, it's the Not Fast guys." And we were like, "Fucking, what did you just say? Like, how do you know who we are?"
Yes, it's us. We're cool.
We're
here.
But that's what I felt like.
Good,
honestly,
man.
like
awesome.
that's what I felt, and that was the first time that happened. And me and Tyler kind of looked at each other like, what the fuck? Like, is this what it feels like to be famous? Like, and so, me and him started chatting, and we just kind of developed a friendship, there that just grew over time. And he and I both come from a graffiti writing background, so that was kind of, we were able to get, oh Lord, we were able to, kind of build a friendship and like a creative friendship, based off of that. And just the more that I saw his work, the more I was like, God, you are so much better than me at all of this.
He's so talented.
He's so talented. And like, as far as, from running his brand, holy shit, he is a machine.
He really is.
He is a machine. He does.
Running his brand and working at Chase Bays, I mean, he never sleeps.
He is a machine. And it's just like, the thing about it is the quality never suffers. Because
no, it only gets better.
Yeah, one of the things that I am on the same letter of the same word of the same line of the same page with him is like, don't put out something just to get something out. If you need to sit out a drop and just kind of keep the promos up to date, but you need to just sit out a drop to come up with better, products, that's what he does. Yeah. That's what he does. And so it's like every drop that he does just fucking bangs, dude. And it's like...
Yeah. I love his style.
Yeah.
Like
Dustin is awesome, man.
With me coming from like my musical background and I feel like I relate like vendor genres the same way I categorize them in my mind for like music genres too.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's cool,
just coming
actually.
from like a kind of a more of a punk rock mentality that's why like your brand stood out a lot to me and like Okie Doke for sure because it feels like looking at Okie Doke stickers and designs and T-shirts and his events that he puts on, it feels like I'm like listening to like a post-hardcore album. Like that's what it feels like to me. And that's how that's just how I like categorize things in my mind. But like
he puts in I get it. Like
but that's so cool because they're not. It doesn't feel like many brands do that,
right?
Yeah.
Or if they do, it's more of like a trendier thing. But he it just feels like it's him.
It's authentic to him.
Feels like Dustin.
He's not doing it to provide for somebody. It's just like that's an extension of him.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, he's marketing his own inner cartoon basically.
It's fucking awesome,
and it does so well.
Yeah,
and he's the nicest fucking dude.
Oh yeah.
Dustin, you are the nicest fucking dude.
Yeah, too friendly.
He's awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
So I kind of want to get into, since we're getting later in the episode here, I want to talk about Riverside this year, like what is going on? Because there's a lot of new and exciting things that are happening that maybe, some people that have been before aren't sure what it is. And like, if you could explain what Simply Clean Expo is a little bit, and kind of go into just some of the new things that are happening with the show this year, and what we should be looking forward to.
Yeah, so every year we always try to introduce new things at the event, and I say that very broad because it kind of has to be that way. I want to provide a new experience every time. I don't want it to just be the same old. Like every time you go, it needs to have grown in some way, whether it be by size or by overall quality or by genres of vehicles and how they're oriented in the parking lot, or where our parking areas are, or how we park vehicles, or how we set up the interior of the the list. Every single thing changes. Yep. And every single thing it doesn't change like the heart and the soul of Riverside. It just kind of adds to it. It's growing up. So
maturing.
So yeah, it's maturing. There we go. So this year we're actually, this is the biggest change we've ever done, literally and physically. We have rented out a large section of Finley Stadium, the neighboring stadium I was talking about earlier. So the South Concourse, which is like the main concourse where you buy your tickets and walk in and buy concessions and go to like the what's called the Stadium Club. It's like the store, or if you're at a soccer game, you go buy T-shirts in there, and they've got music playing or whatever, and a bar and food trucks and everything. That's the South Concourse. So we have rented the South Concourse and that Stadium Club, and the surrounding sidewalk area, the road so Ridgeway Boulevard's the main street in between the pavilion and the stadium, which we normally have closed off and used for the event. But the last 2 years we weren't unable to close them because of city regulations and things. But we have it closed back again. So we've also added 19th, which is the street at the south end of Reggie White that's perpendicular. And so we'll have stuff there as well. But Liberty, VIP, and Fortune Mines, that kind of one entity. It's really like an Infamous, like it's like three groups or whatever. But they essentially set up as one vendor. They're going to be on the concourse. They're bringing something around 15 to 25 vehicles.
Yeah, which they usually do, and they're all majority are all VIP cars that are the tip top, and they're huge, like inspirations for me and should be for other people too. Like these are very, very, very nice cars.
Absolute heavy hitter. They're every car, every detail. These guys, like you can tell they live this life.
Yes.
And they do so well at it. But so anyway, they're going to be there, set up on the concourse and kind of flowing out of the concourse into the main parking areas and the main walkway areas and stuff. It's just going to be cars everywhere. And then also the Stadium Club, which is this really large, like party room kind of a thing. It's going to be the Simply Clean Expo. And to explain what that is, Simply Clean is my favorite event. And it happens in Daytona. It hasn't happened since.
I'm
you
sad.
have to go. I say it every year. I would miss Riverside to go to Simply Clean.
Fun fact: the only car show my car has ever been in is Simply Clean.
Oh yeah,
one time.
Oh, it was inside the pavilion too.
I was a vendor car for Airlift.
Man, and that's awesome.
I ruined my fender the day before, and so I felt awful about it. That morning, I was putting touch-up paint on my burnt fender. It was awful.
I ruined 2 quarter panels at Simply Clean 6, 2014 or whatever it was, or 16. I don't remember, 16 I think. But I love Simply Clean. I would say that Simply Clean is the biggest influence on Riverside as far as like the vibe, the atmosphere, the layout, the way Simply Clean's motto is it's not a competition, and they have no awards.
Yep. And I mean that's always been a destination show for a lot of people too.
Oh
like
yeah.
It is 100%. Like that's a vacation for everybody. Yeah. Like everybody's like, all right, I know it's going to be around this time of year. I'm going to make sure that as soon as they announce the dates, I got an Airbnb. I take time off work. Like it's one of those shows.
It's one of the greats. Yeah. I mean, it is one of the greats.
Which it's on pause currently.
Yeah, it is on pause currently.
But the expo is kind of...
So since then, Nikolai's been doing the expo, which is like a sneaker convention, vintage clothing, collectibles, items like not market, but like a expo. I mean, it's a high quality
It's kind of like
event.
a boutique setup.
I mean, yeah. So they do it at a few different locations, but like the Orlando, because it's based in Orlando. But the Orlando one, I mean, it's like in like a museum or something, because there's like a T-Rex like skeleton, like
what?
There's like fossils everywhere. Yeah, dude, it's so cool.
You're gonna have a T-Rex skeleton in
No.
the concourse?
That would be so cool. But
we're doing Night in the Museum car show.
Yeah, Night in the Museum car. So
let's go.
But it like hit. The thing about like Simple Clean Expo is he puts that much effort into everything he does.
Yeah,
and it shows. It's so awesome. And I literally have, like, can't say this enough, that if I hadn't gone to Simple Clean, you wouldn't be going to Riverside. And if you were going to Riverside, it wouldn't be like it is.
That's an interesting thing to, like, for sure.
All cards on the table. Like, I love Simple Clean. And Nikolai is an extremely good friend of mine. They come to Riverside every year. And anyway, so this year we're having the Simple Clean Expo at the event, and it's inside the Stadium Club on the South Concourse. So it kind of adds,
it's like a different thing. I mean, car shows can be boring if you walk around and see all the cars. Maybe you don't know that many people.
Yeah.
Like, it's another thing. You can walk across the street, see more cars, and go look at sneakers and boutique clothes. And Corey's girlfriend has her thing there.
Yeah, Hellbent Vintage. She's bringing her van.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've seen her stuff. It's super dope.
Yeah, it's so cool.
So it's just like another little activity thing that's involved with the show, where it's like, it's that extra effort. You have something else to do during a car show, and it adds to the vibe and the feel, and it fits the aesthetic overall too. Because a lot of people that are into cars, an extension of that is they like clothes, they like stuff like that, and so I think it's a really cool thing, and I love that you've tied that in, and especially that it's Nikolai from Simply Clean. It just works. It wouldn't make sense if it was somebody from outside of cars coming in and doing a fucking sneaker expo at the thing, but it's because it's somebody who is part of this community. It's like, that fucks. This is awesome.
and a talented event organizer already.
Absolutely,
and he's just taking all those skills and putting it in this.
And what a venue!
I love it. And that's just, I'm just so pumped about it. But so because we're adding this location and this the expo and these other vehicles and some other stuff that you actually get to see, I can't say too much, but you'll see new things there. Our event is free to attendees, to spectators.
Mm-hmm.
Our event has always been free and it always will be. The expo, to get onto the concourse, is the first time we ever actually have to charge something at the door, and it's only $5. It's $5. You're gonna get a custom wristband that goes it's gonna be like a cool thing.
You know what's funny?
What's that?
Is if Nax's SEMA, his Y32 SEMA is going to be there.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, I would pay $50 to go in and see that. $5 to go in somewhere and see that thing?
Yeah, $5.
That's worth it right there.
There will be concessions there, a coffee truck there. There's going to be a bar open there.
Yeah.
So, you'll be able to, you can buy a beer at the bar inside the pavilion, walk around the show, walk out into Reggie White Boulevard for the show area, and walk across the street into the stadium, still sipping that beer, walk into the expo, walk around, buy another beer while you're there.
That's so great.
It's we're trying to make it almost like an Oktoberfest vibe.
Do you have a unique food vendor that's a beer vendor?
The way that Finley Stadium kind of requires how they have to sell alcohol. Per their law, per the city law ordinance and all that stuff. They have to sell the beer there. So we'll have bars set up
throughout,
and they'll
the
have
whatever,
they'll have local brewery beer available.
Okay, cool. That's what I wanted to know. Is
there will be Bud Lights and whatever.
Well, and also there's the restaurant there too.
Yeah, Naked River Brewing.
River's a great spot.
So Naked River will be there. Great people. Their bar's awesome. They've got really good barbecue food, but that's in the parking lot. And also on the other side of the stadium, there's Southside Social, Chattanooga Billiards Club. I'm sorry, Billiards Club, Chattanooga Brewing Company. Oh, they're gonna get me for that one.
Wait,
That's CBC. So Chattanooga Brewing Company. Their food is awesome, and their beer is great. And I mean, there's so many other places within walking distance of all that.
And the food trucks.
And
then the food trucks.
And and food trucks. This year we're supposed to have 10 or 11 food trucks.
Which you have a different like kind of layout to that too. Like, didn't you add the parking lot that's usually for truck and trailers? Isn't that now for like more cars, more stuff over there?
Yeah. So in years past, if you go around the pavilion to the south side of the parking lot, like go past where the dog park is. That's usually been roped off as like a truck and trailer for a vendor like parking lot essentially. But it's always full and it's kind of hard to do all that. So we decided to just to clean it up. That lot is now going to be mostly used for the food vendor section. Mm-hmm. There'll be like tables and like kind of a corral of food trucks. So you'll have plenty of options. And also we're just taking that rotation of like the kind of the off-road truck section is going to be pushed into that area. Corner, yeah. So, but again, like there's not a bad parking spot. We're not going to go all the way down to where like it turns into gravel. Like we're going to kind of shoehorn it off at the end, but like it's going to look so cool and also create less clutter. Mm-hmm. And feel more.
That's what I was thinking just now as you were saying that. Unsurprisingly, that's a great use of space.
Yeah, I mean it's an awesome location. That's where they set up the food trucks for the Chattanooga market, and I don't know why we just didn't do it sooner. Like, I mean, we've always tried to put them up there in the front, and so that like it's
they get the exposure of people walking in.
Yeah, and just in case there's like inclement weather or something, we would need them inside, but then. There's just food trucks take up a lot of space, and the lines take up a lot of space.
I think where you, like I said, I think where you put them is a great use of space because it's going to be thinking about that too. Like, that's a really important consideration. That would be, I mean, it's not even a complaint, but that was one thing that I noticed last year was because the food trucks were right there in the corner and the lines were so long at a given time.
Yeah, I mean, they were reaching to the street.
I mean, they were like snaking all the time. So when you have them all in that one place,
it'd be great.
It's so much like all of the line and all of that stuff is just completely out of the way.
Yeah, and you'll have more options so that hopefully there won't be lines or there will be very short lines. But and we've always tried to have more and more options, but it's hard to get like good food trucks. But we spent the last year taking it back to investing into your community. We spent the last year, Carly and myself, getting to know a lot of the food trucks in person. Yeah. I mean, we would go.
Y'all been eating good?
Yeah, man. So Food Truck Alley is like it's right downtown. If you guys haven't been, it's a great thing. Like
I actually have not.
Food Truck Alley's sick. It's literally an open alleyway, but there will be at any given night like 3 or 4 food trucks. But you need to like follow their Instagram or something so you can see like who's there and what night they're going to be like operating. But it's super cool. Like Carly and I, like a date night or something, we'll just drive down there, Evie in the back seat, and we'll just get like some food trucks or food truck food and then like play cornhole out there and like
nice.
It's so cool. It's right downtown. But anyway, we wanted to get involved in the food truck community because Chattanooga has like cool food trucks.
Oh yeah,
really good ones.
Oh yeah,
too.
That's a big thing too. Like I've noticed that at Riverside, there's been some real good food.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
I want there to be good food. I don't want there's just like random like.
Nah, nobody wants just like burgers. It's got to be memorable and fries. He wants something that's good.
I want something that you would like talk about. I had a great meal there. I got to go back just because.
Yeah.
We love our
food trucks.
Fuck
the cause, right? This
is
good food.
Yeah, come for the food trucks. Stay for seconds.
Changes the slogan completely.
Stay for CBC. But no,
stay for dessert.
Yeah, stay for dessert. I mean that's an important detail though that always needed to be addressed. And I always try to improve it every year, but like this year we just had to kind of go out on a limb and just be like, listen, we need twice as many food trucks. Yeah. We need all of you.
Well, and hopefully if there's more, it'll cut back some of the lines too. Because nobody, if you're starving hungry, nobody wants to wait in line for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But if there's more of them, then hopefully that helps. And plus, more variety, different choices, stuff like that. Like that's,
and they're all great local businesses, and we want to support Chattanooga businesses and stuff. I mean that's important. And but yeah, I mean the layout will just be nicer. So more space, more vehicles. We're approving more vehicles this year than we ever have. ever had in the past. But also that means that we've been getting more registrations too. So and we try to send them out in waves. We don't just like onesie and twosie them here. Like we let them build up for a week or so, and then send out a wave of registration replies, and we reply to every registration.
So I have to ask, right?
I'm so glad, because I was thinking about it.
Which I see this happen for every single car show there is. It doesn't matter how good of a show it is. There's always going to be those people that want to bitch and complain and whine and have something to moan about when it comes to registration. Oh, I didn't get accepted, or, this car got accepted. Why didn't this car? Like those types of things. As a show owner, like, how do you feel about that stuff? Because obviously, like, it's a, for me, as somebody who loves the show, it gives me a fucking headache. I get, like, annoyed about it. It's not even my show, and I, like, defend the ever-living shit out about it. I defend the ever-living shit out of Riverside because I'm like, no, I love this show. They're like, there's reasons and everything for everything. And I don't know. I wanted your take on it.
Well, I mean, I feel like we talked about it a lot earlier. Like the cars kind of have to have that substance, that spark. They have to kind of stand out in like a way that just makes you feel like it
makes you feel.
Yeah,
it just makes you feel.
A lot of every vehicle will make you feel something, but and it also that's a perception thing. So like the owners of vehicles, or subcultures of vehicle owners, but the thing is we don't want every like style there.
Well, that's what I was gonna say is like
we want a lot of styles, yes, but we want styles that complement each other well and that flow well together. And Riverside has a vision. There is a direction it's been heading in since day one.
You mean to tell me that me and my boys with our 600 fucking FRSs with wide bodies and camber that all have the same body kits can't all show up and be in the same show together?
I mean, send in a registration.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, when the panel of people go through it, and we'll talk about it. We talk more about when we're going over vehicles.
Yeah.
It's not. We're not saying like, well, that fitment's crazy or blah blah blah. I mean, we'll obviously the basics. Those things are surface level.
Well, no, like I bring it up because it's like, for me, when I think about it, it stresses me out. If I was in your shoes, because you're just trying to put on like a really good event,
and I don't want to like offend anyone.
Yeah, you're never trying to hurt anybody's feelings.
That's not the goal.
And I get like the smallest taste of this when I'm looking for booth cars.
Yeah.
Like every year, I make a post about Riverside for booth cars. I'm like, hey, looking for booth cars for Riverside, VIP cars only. I'm very specific about that.
Yeah.
And I will get messages from
will you take
everybody.
my clapped out 240 with a wall tap on the back?
Like, okay, I'll get messages from people that do have really, really nice cars, but I've already specified VIP only. And I just feel like such an asshole being like, nope, sorry. Even though their car is like nice, it's not what I'm looking for, and that's all it comes down to.
I know that you feel that way, but they're just being rude. I mean, honestly,
well, some people are just like super pushy. Like,
and not they may not even intentionally be acting rude. They may just not understand. They're ignorant to the.
That's true, but I think like that kind of ties into it though. I think it is. It's an attitude approach thing to it. Like I think some people have the attitude that they have the expectation that they are going to be accepted.
Well,
they should be accepted. And that's kind of the problem.
It's like the entitlement that comes with that. Like, oh, well, if you go into it like, all right, well, I'm going to register, and I mean, my car is the shit, so of course. And then you don't, and then you get pissed off. It's like,
well, because every vehicle owner, especially somebody who modifies their vehicle and has passion into modifying it, whether they have an Envision or not, is their car is the coolest car.
They're proud of their car.
Our intention is not to sell tickets. We don't want to have 5,000 cars at the car show.
It's not even that you're selling tickets; it's free for spectators.
Well, I mean for event vehicles.
No, but even then, it's really cheap to have a car at Riverside.
And we've always tried to keep it that way. But we always will keep it that way. But. And if I wanted to rent 4 more parking lots and sell 2,500 car parking spots, then I could. But then it would kill Riverside.
Exactly.
It would take the heart and the soul out of it.
Exactly.
And it would turn it into something else. And that's not this is just not going to happen. Like,
no, it doesn't need to be.
And it doesn't. And I don't know. It's not out of like your car's not cool or it is cool. That's not it. It's just when we like feel something about, like when we can feel the essence of it, or we feel like that vehicle of this registration, if I can picture it in the event parking lot and surrounded by other vehicles that are going to show up that day, like, does it flow well? Like, does it make sense? Like, does it stand out enough where you're like, oh, that's so cool that I never would have thought about. Dude, I have a friend who has that car, and this makes so much sense. Or like, I used to own one of these cars, and I haven't thought about this style because it kind of went out of style like 15 years ago, but this brings back memories, and it also does like a new cool way. Like, it's got to have
something that's like different. It's unique. Substance, baby.
Yeah, it's got to have substance. That's a long way of saying it's got to have substance. But that really is it. I mean, that's the best answer I can give on registrations. But also, like, it's the numbers too. If we approve 420 cars, 2,000 registered. Yeah. That's simple math.
Well, and also, bringing this over to the conversation of vendors too, there's a lot of vendors that get turned down, and it's not, and I don't think it's anything to do with them not being good enough.
No.
There's so many that are like great vendors. But what's your perspective on the vendor side of it?
So every year we want to make sure that we have like a clean slate. We want to have new vendors there. We want to have literally new vendors, like people like businesses or brands or whatever that are new to vending. Every single year, I guarantee you there's 4 or 5 there that's their first show they've ever vended at.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of vendors. That's a big portion. But yeah, I mean, we do get, we'll approve maybe 50% of the registrations for vendors that come in. And that's really just over the last 3 or 4 years.
That's one of those things that like you can't really change that at all because you have limited space in the pavilion.
They could be outside, but
you're not trying to, because then
we have some outside.
Right.
We have 5 outside this year.
Yeah, but almost having too many vendors then kind of dulls it down for the other. Yeah. It's the same thing that the having too many show cars would ruin it for other show cars. It's like if there's too many vendors, kind of takes away from the other vendors.
Well, if you go to a restaurant and they hand you a telephone book and you're trying to pick food out of it, even if every single item in that book is excellent food, you will 100% be pleased with whatever meal you choose today from this menu. If there's 100 options, that's too many options.
Looking at you, Cheesecake Factory.
It takes away from each individual vendor.
Absolutely. I think that's the point that I was trying to make. Yeah, but that was a very good analogy for sure.
And that's just it's important. Like I've talked about it already tonight, but like my vendors are important to me. I want to make sure that they know that they are getting respect. They know that every square inch of their space has been thought out and it's purposeful and everything looks good and it's nice and clean and orderly and the Wi-Fi is available, the restrooms, they know where they're at, and nobody's getting blocked. No one's there's not a bad parking space.
No, I was gonna say from a vendor perspective, it is my favorite show to vendor at visually because the space is great. And I can line my cars up in a way like you were talking with Matt, so that you have an angle of every single car to be able to get good pictures. And that's what I always try to do for my booth cars. And I think it's really it's cool with a venue like that too, because as a vendor, it almost inspires you to want to do something that's cool and creative. You want to do something that's out of the box with your booth because the venue itself is out of the box. It's what can I do to make my booth stand out in here? When you go to other shows like regular convention center indoor shows, it's whatever, just put the booth up. But when you go to Riverside, at least for me, I'm trying to think about what can I do that's going to, make people want to come to my booth. And I feel like a lot of the vendors that come to the show do the same thing. And that's why that pavilion is so sick. Whether it's the cars, whether it's fucking misguided, putting fake trees out and little shit like that.
Hey, shout out Misguided Media.
Absolutely.
He came last year. Was his first
show
he vended at, And he came with his 10 by 10 simple pop-up tent with, I think, like 2 cars or maybe 1 car.
Yeah.
And the way he had it set up, I walked by it like 10 times that day. and because I'm constantly moving the whole day.
Dude,
but I walked by it, and I physically wrote down in my notepad, like, fake plans. Like, this guy's got cool vision. And this year, Riverside booth is in a completely different location, and everything is designed totally different because of the impact that he put. Because I brought on a new vendor that I could tell he had style, or we could tell he had style. He had a good vision. Like, his merchandise is nice. He puts a lot of, like, his like booklets and stuff. Those things are sick.
Yeah,
I love those things.
Yeah,
He puts more attention to detail in his merchandise than most vendors that I know of.
Exactly. And I think that, to summarize what I was trying to get at, Riverside is the perfect way to showcase your brand. Convention centers lack inspiration. And dude, seriously, like, this show, if you're a brand owner and you're able to come and be a vendor at Riverside, like, it's the perfect opportunity to show what your brand is about. Whether it's through the cars, the way that you decorate it, the way that you lay it out, the products that you sell. It is the perfect opportunity to have that platform to make your brand look as presentable as possible. And I think I have only just realized that is like one of my favorite things and why I like really enjoy vendoring it.
It distills.
Yeah.
It distills over the course of the episode.
I mean, I don't think I can thank you guys enough. Like, you guys are gonna make me cry, I swear to God. But I love Riverside. I love this community. I love Chattanooga as a community. I love the car community. Like, I'm dedicating everything I have to bringing a good quality event just so that people can come have a good time and experiences and memories that they can hold on to forever, and be me when they're in their 30s or whatever, and they're going to their car shows and they're like, man, I miss going to that.
Dude, you're literally.
I was going to say, nailed it.
That's all I want.
You're talking to me because, like, you're saying all these things, and then these are all the things that you're doing right now are the things that I want to be doing, and then I also want to be inspiring people younger than me to be doing those things too. So this is like. That's why I was so excited about this episode, is because this really comes like full circle, and it's just kind of this like evolution through culture.
And don't forget about the things now, like enjoy, like, I mean, 3 of you best friends hanging out in a house together every day. Like, I would have killed for that.
I mean,
dude, we have had
not for nothing.
I know you guys like know it, but like that's important.
Not for nothing. It's because of you.
Yeah.
Like,
not,
it is.
Not to like drop that on you, but like literally, the only reason I know Ben is because of Riverside. Through Ben, I met Liam. All 3 of us are now best friends, and we live together in the city that Riverside is in.
And you want to know what's even funnier?
Throw that out there.
You want to know what's even funnier? Me and Matt have had this exact conversation in fucking tears, like crying our hearts out, sitting right here with each other.
It's crazy.
About this exact fucking thing, about how this is like the best years of our lives.
Good.
And that, like, 10 years from now we'll have different, things going on that we'll love and be important to us, but we can always reflect back to right now, where it's like, dude, we're in this. We love this, and I'm excited for the future, and I love Riverside. I'm so happy for, all of the success that you've had with the show and everything that it's done for me. Like, it's insane that a show that you put on because you just want to do like a cool event for enthusiasts could have such a big effect on me and my life. Like, I wanted to kill myself 2 weeks before Riverside last year. I actively went to Home Depot and bought rope one day that I was at my shop. And I didn't, because I knew I was going to come to fucking Riverside and that was going to make so many things better. And I'm so fucking glad that I did, because I love Riverside. Sorry to drop that. That's incredibly dark for everybody. I don't usually get that vulnerable openly, but
that's the thing, man. It's like you think about why you did it. You just told us why you did it. Why you started going in this direction, and it's just like, again, sorry we're bombarding you like with this field trip, but
cry, like, Mason, cry.
Like, dude, I think, and I'm just that kind of person that will bombard you with shit like this, just because I like lifting my friends up because they deserve it and I fucking love them. But it's just like, you, for the rest of your life, and I'm sure you will, but I certainly hope you will, it's just like, you went into this to create this experience that you value so much as you've been growing up like in the car community.
And you're providing that for everybody else.
You got there, and then you kept going even more. Like, it's unbelievable, dude. It's just like the effort and emotion that you put into this, the effort and emotion that your staff contributes to this, you can feel all of that shit. You can feel all of it. So, dude, we're not going to make you cry, but like it's really important to both of us that you understand that the impact just on us as two individuals, the impact that has been had by what you created just because you love it.
And it really does go to show that, when you're passionate about something and you really, really, you put that love into something,
it translates.
It translates, and it can really change people's lives. And I think about Riverside as one of those shows that if I was a 10-year-old kid and my dad took me to Riverside, it would be a show that leaves an impact on my brain to where it's like, that could that could ignite the fire and love for cars in a child that I feel like other shows just wouldn't do. Riverside is that show that if I was a 10-year-old and I went with my dad, I'd remember it for the rest of my life and be like, yeah, that's the thing that got me super into cars. I'd never seen a car that looked like that, and you never know what's going to happen when you create things, when you start doing things, and you just do it because you love it, that it could lead into so many great things and have such a huge impact on people. And that's not the reason you do it. You just do it because you love it. And it's a byproduct that it has that impact.
I mean, that's more than I could ever ask for, honestly. Yeah. And that's what you guys, I see your passion in your event, or in your brand and everything that
Event? What event?
Yeah, your event.
Not yet.
Your brand and everything that you do. Yeah, not yet. We're working on something, maybe.
Trying, man. I'm trying.
But no, I mean, that's, I don't know, it doesn't go unnoticed. Everybody can feel that. Everybody can feel that, from your stuff. It's important. And definitely from you. You radiate it.
Matt is the most passionate talking person.
Ever. I've never met a more passionate
person. I was going to say, if you guys ever run into us at an event and you have a conversation with Matt, be prepared to stand there for an hour. If you would like to experience Substance Show in real life, just have a conversation with Matt. He will talk to you about any of these things for an hour straight.
And it'll be one of the best conversations you've ever had.
100%.
I walked away from the booth in Stance Nation in Atlanta. I don't think we sold anything. It was awesome. I mean, thank you, Elvis, for coming to the Southeast. That was incredible to be a part of. My brain exploded.
That was one of the few
I'm gonna
shows.
Be at Stance Nation. My stuff is gonna be. What is going on?
My Crown Majesta was in Stance Nation.
Oh yeah.
I still can't fucking believe
that's just that. Coming from a 2010 was the
I mean, we all grew up on Stance Nation.
Yeah, that's just insane. But anyway, I remember walking away from the booth just to hang out with you and just talk about what was going on and in your life and in my life and just everything we were doing. And we walked and we talked about we walked around the Japanese Classics booth and I was talking about how big of a goal it would be to have a vendor like Japanese Classics come to Chattanooga, this small town in the mountains no one's ever heard of.
What year was that Stance Nation that you were talking about?
28.
My car was blue. So
and I had the Majesta.
2018.
So I think it was 2018, yeah.
But 2017.
Was it?
Wait, was it December? Atlanta?
It was late 2017, I think. Yeah.
I had the Crown Majesta.
It was 2017. It was either late 2017 or early 2018.
Do you want to know something really funny? Small world.
What?
I was there.
That's great.
I believe that.
I lived up in Detroit at the time, but I was I had just started dating this girl that like lived in, I think, South Carolina, and we decided we'd go to that show for the weekend.
Yeah.
That was fun.
But I was there. Yeah, I was at that show. I never put anything out because that girl cheated on me like 3 days later, and that was done, and I was heartbroken. But I was at Stance Nation too.
Yeah, we
vended
at that show. Yeah, my car.
I remember. I definitely remember the Japanese Classics booth.
Yeah.
I saw that Y32, the purple Y32 that sold like recently.
Yeah.
That was there, and I was like,
I mean, that was one of their shop cars. Like I forgot the name of the guy. Like
yeah.
But like how their whole presence. I mean, how they put out they
had the backdrops and all of that stuff.
Yeah, for the separate
Sick.
Japanese classics and Japanese parts and stuff. Like that was seeing their setup at Sensation was a huge
honestly,
impact
that's
on me
like
too.
that would be inspirational for me to have like a booth set up like that because that's a VIP experience.
Yeah, as a vendor and as an event organizer, like that helped me. That single day helped me like look above whatever glass ceiling I was at that point, like whatever it was, and that's so cool. But those are notes that I take from events when I go to events. Like
just little things, man.
Yeah, all the
fake plants,
details.
Plants.
Yeah, I mean the details are important. Our vendors are awesome. I have pride in our vendors. And our vendors have pride in their booths too. And I wish I could have more. I really do. Like there were vendors that every vendor that registered, we replied to in one day.
Yeah.
And because they filled in so fast. We let them stack up for about a month, and then we closed registration after that. And we've never done that before. But there were more vendors that received like essentially a decline email that was like, I'm sorry, I wish I could fit you. Because like I would love to have you here.
Right.
And that was hard to do. This is the first time we've ever done that.
Yeah.
And it was that's so cool though. I love like the quality of vendors. And that was a big note for me early on. I know we've been talking for so long. I'm sorry guys.
No, not at all.
This is awesome.
Hey, if anybody listening has anything to complain about, don't.
Yeah. If you've made it this far, I mean,
you're interested enough.
Hey, if you've made it this far, find me a Riverside 7. I'll get you some Riverside merchandise for free. You tell me that. Say 2 hours and 15 minutes or whatever.
You're gonna have like 200 people.
You sure?
Hit me up.
Hey, Mason, I listened to that episode.
Hit me up. Say, find me. If you have to find me first off. You got to find me. I'm there. I'm there. I'm the first person there, the last person.
Do they have to catch you too?
You have to come up to me.
Run.
I will be carrying stuff on my body, like in my person, in a bag or in a pocket or something. If you find me and you bring up this podcast and you said you heard that section or whatever,
this is gonna be like
I will have an item for you.
The most engagement on any of our episodes.
Yeah.
And Mason's like, fuck.
I will have an item for you. I don't care. Like,
Joke's on them. It's a scrap of paper that just says Riverside on it.
Yeah, it'll be something cool. It'll be worth your time.
He does his signature.
Yeah.
Here's an autograph.
Yeah. Just like a squiggle. Yeah. My daughter just like handprints something with like paint on her
Let
hand.
me get one of those.
That's a pretty cool idea.
We need one of those on the fridge.
But no, I mean for real, find me. I'll get you something. But what were we saying? I was getting at something now.
We were talking about how long we've been talking, and we're just like, nah, don't worry about it.
I know.
Don't complain,
But
guys.
right before that, but I guess just talking about vendors, like I love our vendor layout. Every year I change the layout and kind of the main walkway area for the pavilion. There's only so much you can do with a 50,000 square foot open air pavilion that has like essentially 3 rows that you can work with.
Right, it's quite it's tight. It's long and tight. It's not like big open and wide.
Yeah, it's not very broad. Yeah,
but that makes it interesting. That's what gives it more character and makes it more appealing.
Yeah.
To have a booth in there.
And we try to have there's like 4 or 5 like big entrance areas that you can walk in and out of. Or we try to make it like breathable, so you're not just like on top of one another and cars are all butted up against each other. Like I really, really, really try to keep enough like elbow room for all the vendors so that they can comfortably display their vehicles and every vehicle can have its own like perfect angle or whatever. Like I want a good and aesthetically pleasing setup.
On that exact point, which I could talk about so many points on Riverside and things that I love for 3 more hours. The pavilion every year brings out media people that I wasn't aware of, and it's almost like it gives them a platform. Like every year after the show, there's always like at least two or three new photographers that are like hitters. Super young, or they're just extremely talented that I'd never heard of. And that show, being the way that like the venue is, has allowed me to like see that the way that they cover a show, and I'm like, holy shit, have to follow them. And so if you guys are into media, you know, you're a photographer, maybe you're getting into it, or you know, you don't live anywhere close to here, if you can make it happen to come to Riverside to just shoot the show, you should do it.
More than worth it.
Because this is one of those shows where, like, event coverage is actually going to be good. Like, indoor shows, it's really hard to shoot and it's not interesting. This show is really good to shoot.
And also a note, too, kind of like on the back end of things that most people don't know about. Like, every year we'll have kind of like a wrap-up staff meeting, usually like a month or so after the event, so we can kind of all you know, relax and collect ourselves and take kind of middle note, like what did we take away from this event? How can we make it better next year? Or how can we whatever? Or what more can I bring to the table? And also we intentionally go over you know, like photo shoots that we get tagged in, Flickr accounts. I'll scour YouTube for everything, like Riverside. Like we want to watch all the cool stuff. But every single year we reach out to 3 or 4 photographers, a couple of videographers that we want to see their stuff, and we'll ask like, can we put this on our website? We want to. We only, like, on our Instagram and our Facebook, we only share photos of vehicles from our events. We don't share anything else. Our stories, every single thing that you see come out of Riverside came from Riverside.
Right.
And but we want to help, you know, put some of those photographers and videographers, give them a platform too, especially new ones.
Absolutely. New ones. It's the perfect opportunity for that. It really is. And I'm hoping this year I'm going to get more of a chance to actually like walk around and shoot. I'm going to be having help with my booth. Hopefully I can get away from the people for a little bit and try and shoot the show, because I
need you to shoot some stuff for me.
Oh yeah, I know. We're recording a documentary.
We're working on a project.
We're a little something.
We're working on a little project.
So yeah, I gotta try and get away and actually
it's so
get out
secret.
there and shoot
I
stuff.
don't even know what the fuck we're talking about.
Well, we just started.
But we can kind of wrap up. 2 hours, 20 minutes. I'm sure. This is the longest episode we've done, and I have no problem with that. Yeah, I could literally talk for so much longer, because I love this, and I love I love Riverside.
I feel like if between me and Liam, if we kept talking, we would just make Mason cry, because we would just be like bombarding him with like, and another great thing, and another.
Now they're like, I'm going to go to Riverside and pick it apart. It's going to be the worst show I've ever been to.
But see,
they've got all these big expectations.
Do you want to know the funny? No. You want to know the funniest part of that? A group of people could literally walk in to Riverside with the intention of doing that, and 2 things would happen. First of all, they would be fucking reaching. The mental gymnastics going on to try and say that Riverside is a shitty show would be Olympics level. The second thing would be like, even if they walked up to you and told you to your family, I have this, and this problem. You would be able to diplomatically handle that. That's the funny probably isn't the right word. Like, that's the most interesting thing about that, is just in having conversations with you about how you like handle that kind of stuff. And when people are disgruntled for whatever reason, you know,
everybody there,
it's very, you guys are
receptive to,
you know, well, you're receptive, but you're also non-abrasive in situations where it would be almost easier to just be like, all right, well, tough shit, fuck off.
I just wouldn't be doing my job.
You know what I mean? So
thank you.
Hey,
seriously,
man,
thank you. I'm glad people see that, because we put effort into that. We put effort into making sure every staff member is very well qualified to do their job and every other job available for that day or that night for the pre-meet, everything. Like, we're there to have fun. Like, we're not there to, you know, not have a good time. I don't know what else to say. Like, that is our goal, is for everybody involved, staff included, to have a good time, and to make sure that we can continue to have more good times.
No, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And, well, this was fucking great. I'm like
great start for season
I'm super
2.
stoked. Yeah,
Fuck yeah.
yeah. So I mean, shit, we got to come back with a real good episode next week to to stay up at this level, huh? But
I'll call Dustin after this.
but yeah,
Call
for
Dustin. You need to get John on here. You need to get Joe on here.
Joe,
Southern Fresh Joe.
oh yeah. But yeah, for Riverside, it's coming up. It's April 2nd.
First Saturday of April.
So yeah, from now it's basically a month, which is exciting.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm starting to stress a little bit too because I'm working on all my design stuff and everything, and I've got most of my booth cars sorted out. For anybody curious that does know, every year I do a tradition where I drop these tan windbreakers, and I do a very, very limited amount of them, and I won't sell them until Spectator is like open. So
The ones from last year were so sick.
yeah, I won't sell them until 1:00, and
It's noon. Noon is.
Oh, it's noon.
Yeah.
Whenever it is, I won't sell
Event
them until
start
then.
or whatever.
And they're usually sold out incredibly quickly. And this year is no different. I'm doing tan windbreakers. I've got a really, really cool design concept. All I'm going to tell you right now is community, not competition. That's kind of the theme for it. So really stoked on this design. It's in the works right now. And then I'm doing a shirt design too with one of our good friends, which I think is a really cool design too. And I haven't even told Mason about it yet, but I'm going to after we get off here. But yeah, so come by my booth and grab some of that stuff if you would like to. But please just come to the show. Mm-hmm. Just come and enjoy yourself and check everything out that Chattanooga has to offer, not just the show. And hopefully you guys fall in love with it like I did. And a few years from now, maybe you'll be in this position where you're like,
maybe
I'm ready to do a show.
You'll have a podcast called Stance Sub.
Hey, and yeah, I mean, if you're an event organizer or you're an up-and-coming event organizer, or you just have a brand and want to vend at events and stuff, like I love talking to people and helping anyone in the community grow. I mean, I don't grow until you grow, kind of a thing. Like,
yeah, I mean everybody got to help each other. So
yeah, we're not competing. This isn't. I don't know how to say whatever like a competing thing, but like we're not competing. Like we're all having fun in this, and we all need to like help each other when we can. So obviously, feel free, shoot me a DM, whatever. Like hit me up at a show.
Yeah, I was gonna say plug your Instagram, both your personal and the Riverside one, just for anybody that's interested in.
Yeah, so Riverside is at Riverside Chattanooga, and my personal Instagram is at Mason Gavin, and just. I post a lot of my wife and my daughter and some of my cars and some off-roading stuff that we do.
Wait, which actually before what car are you? Well, Chattanooga off-road, and what car are you bringing this year?
All of them.
I don't know. I got to get them all ready. So I will have my new to me first gen Toyota Tacoma there, but it's we're working on some big stuff.
It's an off-road.
I'm working with Opt Off-Road on a total redesign of this truck. But it'll be there. It's fun. It's a very cool truck. It's purpose-built trail rig, which my wife and I, we host off-road events every month, Chattanooga Off-Road Month.
Which I went wheeling with Mason the other day, and it was so much fun.
That was one of the best wheel days I've had in years.
It was fucking sick.
I loved it. We spent a lot of time in the woods. That's a big, big passion of ours. But I'll have that there. I'll probably have my first gen 4Runner there, but it's kind of – I was hoping to kind of debut this big, big project for that truck, like what I'm working on for that truck at Riverside this year, but the timeline didn't work out, and I'm waiting on parts and some custom stuff being built. But it's still running a drive. It's actually in the driveway right now, but
like the 4Runner
at the end of the driveway. Oh, it's not solid axle swapped yet, but in these other things I'm working on, but it's it'll be there. It's still a cool truck. And then also my new project car is a 95 E36 3 Series coupe, but it's a Japanese market car. It's a M-Tech Japanese E36.
It's so cool.
It's a fun little car. I'm pumped about it. It's real plain and simple and just a clean, nice car. Like I mean, it's Misguided Media and you got it was like bone stock then.
Yeah, but you have Futuras now, right?
Yeah, I've got Futuras for it and putting like my Recaros in it from the Sport Cross, and I've got like a bunch of other stuff that
should be
not a bunch, but just like little, I mean, just fun, simple, and that there's there's an example of a vehicle that'll be at Riverside, not just because it's mine, but because if anybody had this vehicle and like the style or whatever, like if they were doing what I'm doing to it, like I would obviously approve that because I like that. But we don't only approve vehicles that I like. It's not just me. There's so many different styles of vehicles there. We already talked about that. But anyway, my point being, like, you don't have to have some crazy overbuilt, elaborate, whatever vehicle. Like, it just has to, have like a point and a vision and soul to it. And that car is obviously a bucket list car of mine. So I'm pumped about that. And hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. But that just gives you like an idea. Like, just because I put the show on doesn't mean I have like some crazy, like overbuilt. Like, it's a very simple vehicle.
Dude, I wish my car was making it. I think I'm gonna drag my car out to the pre-meet.
Bring it to the pre-meet, man.
After we get done recording this episode tomorrow, Saturday, I'm driving my car on the road for the first time. I'm very excited.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm gonna drag it out to the pre-meet, which will be great. But it looks an absolute state right now.
One last thing.
Yes.
I just got to finish up. At Riverside, we do this every year, but we do a fundraiser for the Chattanooga Humane Society. And this year it's the same thing, $1 a ticket. You can buy these tickets at our booth any time of the day. At 4 p.m. is when we do the giveaway or the announcements and stuff. So 100% of those proceeds goes to the Chattanooga Humane Society. And all of our vendors pitch in, and we do like essentially goodie bags with probably 5 to 10 items in there, kind of ranging in size and color and whatever items may be in there. And then also, and we always do a few other things like, one day we'll have like big crazy items, but that we just haven't been able to afford that yet. So we give away some like custom Grip Royal Riverside steering wheels. NPC has always made some shift knobs for us that are custom engraved, real nice. Really,
it's all cool shit. Honestly.
Yeah, we really try like to do what we can with that, and but it's important to us. Like we adopted our pets, our dog and our cat, and the Chattanooga Humane Society does great stuff here in Chattanooga. We want to support them any way we can. So come by the booth, buy a $1 ticket. You're gonna have a good time. We always have fun with that, and a new thing that we're doing, we don't do car trophies and awards and stuff. We talked about that already, but we're actually going to start doing kind of a series of like vendor appreciation moments and stuff. So we're going to really kind of pay back to our vendors, just put some more heart and soul in that community and take care of everybody, and hopefully get some recognition out there for vendors and businesses and brands that like need it and deserve it and put hard work and stuff. And which killer vendors. We're pumped about that. But that's something new we're kind of bringing to the table too.
That actually leads into my my sleeper for this episode, which Matt, I don't know if you prepared a sleeper. I wasn't even thinking we were going to bother doing it, but just because this popped to mind. My sleeper is Kaizen VIP because he's going to be a vendor at Riverside, and I know what he's bringing.
Oh, yeah?
And I am ecstatic for that booth setup.
Oh, cool.
So, okay, for anybody who doesn't know, Kaizen VIP, a good friend of mine, he basically just provides like little VIP accessories. There's other companies and stuff that you can get you body kits, aero, all of that stuff. But, he specializes in little niche items for your car, like the little interior stuff, and then any kind of like cool little niche exterior stuff too. Yeah, I think for Riverside, I don't want to like leak his shit, but I'm pretty sure it's an all Y32 booth. And if you guys know how I feel about Y32s,
oh, that's cool.
I'm like excited as fuck, and I'm also like I'm low key mad about it because like one of the cars is a car that I was banking on being a booth car for me, but I was just way too slow to grab him, and so I'm very excited to see Kaizen's booth. Shout out to Kaizen VIP if you guys are interested in getting any like little cool items for your, you want some tray tables, maybe interior, reupholstery stuff, neck pads, curtains, all of that stuff, and then stuff to put on your tables. Hit up Kaizen. I think it's Kaizen_VIP on Instagram. Super good dude. Definitely somebody that you should support, and come out to Riverside and check his booth out.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be set up next to his booth because I didn't know they were homies.
Oh yeah. He's like basically across, right?
No, I'm going to put him next to you if you want him.
Fuck, go on then. Go on then.
Hey, man, I mean, I'm just. But if my vendors want to set up next to each other, just tell me. Like, I'd love to have you guys. Like, if that's your homie and you guys can buy cars off together, like
I would.
It only improves the show. Like, if you guys set up well and you partner well, like.
Yeah, he's gonna have really, really nice cars. So cool. Yeah, 100%. Let's do it.
I'm pumped. Yeah, we'll do it.
Yes.
He'll be behind you, or like west of you.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine with me.
That'd be sick.
Matt, do you have a sleeper?
I do. Technically, I've already said his handle, but I'll just say it again, and I'll say his personal also. But Dustin,
I knew you were gonna say
that. With Okie Doke brand, and so his brand Instagram is at Okie Doke brand, and his personal is at Okie Dustin, and we're going to have him on
100%.
Hopefully very soon, because like I said, he and I are good friends, and we're just same letter, the same word, the same line of the same page on so many things. And he and I have had a lot of, really good conversations, not unlike conversations that Liam and I have. And he just, like I said, man, he is a machine. Everything that he does is original content and has his original flavor to it. And, I just appreciate him and what he does so much. One of the biggest reasons is because, he and I were doing the same thing. We have all original content, and we put blood, sweat, and tears into it, and it shows. So, yeah. At Okie Doke Dustin is his personal, but at Okie Doke brand is his brand page.
Yeah.
And again, guys, thank you so much for
thank you
listening.
So much.
We appreciate you guys. I hope that this was a good episode. I apologize that it was long, but
I don't care what anybody else thinks.
You know what?
No,
No, I'm not going to apologize, because I think that it was a good episode, and I think
it was worth the time.
Yeah, I agree.
It was fun. I feel like I talked a lot, but it was a good time.
We all talked a lot.
Hey, man, like I said, you're the guest. We wanted to hear you. They hear us all the time.
But no, if you guys are listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please go and rate this show 5 stars. I'm not quite sure what that does for us yet, but it looks really cool, and who doesn't like stars? So please go and do that.
Who doesn't like stars?
Except don't put stars down the side of your vehicle, because we're over that stuff.
But
they're like, wait, I love stars.
But and if you're watching on YouTube, give it a like, and drop, let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know guests that you want to see on the show, any kind of insight on some of the stuff that we talk about.
That's something that I think we've mentioned it like once, but really we should always passively mention it. Like, obviously you guys know, if you listen to this regularly, that we want to know what you think, but like, if you have something that we have not already talked about that you feel like would be a cool topic, I'm not promising you that we will do it.
Right.
But we will always have an open mind about other topics to talk about, because we can only think of so many. So, getting outside ideas would be great.
And I have had a lot of people actually make suggestions to me, and I really do appreciate that. A lot of the topics that people will suggest will be things that we could, maybe cover in like a 20-minute period. They're not like a whole episode worthy. So they will be things that we'll probably touch on in other episodes. So if you've made a suggestion and we haven't covered it yet, don't think that we're like ignoring it. We're super open to everything, and we're really, really just grateful that we have this platform and that people are here and listening and supporting it. And again, if you want to support this, you can go to the website and grab any of these. I have a new drop that is live. You can also go and download the Wheel Price app that, again, supports us and supports the people that support us, and come to Riverside. That's about all the plugs I need to do. You guys are awesome. We appreciate you, and we will see you next Monday for another episode. So
I was about to do Love You Bye, but you know what I realized the other day? I stole that from you.
Oh, yeah,
now I just overuse it, so I'm gonna have to calm down.
Can we have Mason do the Love You Bye just to end the episode?
No, because it's got the whole phone hang up. I mean. All right,
we'll just cut
the episode
cut
the video.
Oh, that's where we'll cut it? All right.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, cool. All right, love you. Bye.